Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the 35th meeting of the Honolulu Liquor Commission. We have no meeting minutes to approve, so we're going to jump right into public hearings, calling agenda item number 1, transfer application number 22-24474 from Kelly O'Neill's LLC.
You need more time?
Hold on, could he take number 2? I don't want to. Let's take number 1 maybe. That's a while. I have number 2.
It's the commission's discretion whether or not to take something out of order.
Okay, Commissioner. Okay, we will call out of order, calling agenda item number 2, application number 22-24609 from J&J Investment Group LLC, DBA Palama Express.
Good afternoon. The owner, Daniel Lim, is present with Council Wayne Luke. We have no changes to the investigators report.
Mr. Luke, Ms. Sarai.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. This application has received one written comment. I don't believe it can be characterized as a protest. It's simply a comment that please don't approve any more on-premise consumption licensees, which is not the application before you. 0 letters in support. Applicant has met statutory requirements for the submission of this application.
Thank you, Ms. Sarai. Is there anyone here today who would like to provide testimony for agenda item number 2? Hearing and seeing none, commissioners, any questions, comments, or type of action?
The comment I'm going to make is looking at the report, right? There is some violations that had occurred at some other Palama markets, right? And some pretty hefty fines, right? So let's try to work and make sure we don't have any problems, okay?
Yes.
Okay, that's all the questions or comments I have.
Okay, I move we approve application number 22-24609.
Second,
There's been a motion and a second. Any objections or reservations? Hearing and seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 22-24609 is approved. Thank you. Commissioner. Going back in order, calling agenda item number 1, transfer application number 22-24474 from Kelly O'Neill's LLC.
Good afternoon. Let the record reflect Wayne Luke as the authorized agent and attorney for the applicant.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. This matter was continued for the March 23rd meeting. Public hearing kept open to permit the applicant to address issues with the affidavit of mailing. You have received a copy of the licensing investigator's second supplemental report addressing the adequacy of the corrected affidavit of mailing was filed. This application has received 0 written protests, 0 letters in support.
Thank you, Mr. I. Mr. Luke, any comments on?
Yes, I apologize for the sloppy work. Last week we had a 2,000 mail out. My concentration went off, but I just would like to remind the commission that this matter was continued. We had 650, we mailed out 650 letters without any objections or protests. But there was a question and I mailed out two more than I should have, probably for one of the owners. Yeah. Other than that, there is no protest, and we asked, whatever you can do. Thank you.
Okay, before I move to comments from the commission, is there anyone who would like to provide testimony on agenda item number 1? Hearing and seeing none, commissioners, questions, comments?
so my comment is going to be, the reason we continued the matter from 1 week ago was because the affidavit was wrong and it needed to be posted correctly for at least 7 days. The current one, if
As they
That's-
continued for 7 calendar days.
Okay, I'm sorry.
right, so, but now we have an affidavit of mailing that you did turn in within the time period, but there's incorrections on that. So my question, I guess, would be, does that still need to be 100% correct for the 7 days posting? I'm assuming it's supposed to be.
That was the reason for the continuance, Mr. Luke.
Yes, I would, that's, that I can't fight that, but, for the record, I'm just saying that there's no protests, no one even is concerned about it. That's all.
But
Yeah, I understand.
I don't think anyone is denying there's been no people contesting or any of that stuff.
Well, that's fine, I understand.
And so my motion, I guess, is going to be,
If I could.
I'm sorry,
So I was not here last week. The commission, when they did continue for 7 calendar days. The statute actually indicates 7 business days. So that would mean a 2-week continuance.
yeah,
So Mr. I, to understand that correctly, we couldn't approve this today. even if
I
it
don't.
was accurate.
Since I was not here last week, I don't know why the decision I don't know if it was just a permissible interpretation of statutory requirements. But the statute does say 7 business days.
Well, for the record, I thought I had enough last week to carry it through. I had met all the requirements except that, there's a question about that we had the mailing was 380 to 382. I mean, that was the only issue there. And that was the only problem at that time.
If you could perhaps, for the record, explain with the error on the initial affidavit of mailing, was that an over-reporting or an under-reporting?
There was an over-reporting, but both were over the amount. I mean, going over the statutory amount was never a question, And if I like that, I would like to just maybe reconsider that portion. All we're dealing with was a question of two numbers. And I was confident that, it would go through on that.
So what you found was an over-reporting by 2.
Yeah.
But that would, even if, but the actual mailing less 2 would have met the statutory requirements for the percentage.
Oh, the percentage was never a
I'm
question.
just trying to help them develop the
Yeah,
here.
the percentage was never a question.
Yeah, I don't think in our eyes, the percentage was the question. The question was that the statute stated you had to have something, right, unposted for a number of days. I believe it was 7 days. I'm not sure if it read 7 business days, sorry, but the affidavit wasn't correctly with the numbers that was posted for the time period that was there.
I'll also typically in a situation like this, I also will report that during the time period, no member of the public has come to inquire to examine the affidavit of mailing or question details of the mailing.
Yeah, for the record, when we first got the mailing out, there were no inquiries, or there were no inquiries into what we had filed, and no one has ever questioned anything about this application.
So I'm gonna make a motion to go into executive session to discuss with a board's attorneys. Sorry, where's the language?
I'll put it with the
Matters. Bad, don't have it in front of me. That's what happens.
Thank you.
Here we go. I can just make one additional.
Okay.
The commission, I move that we go into executive session for the following reasons. To consult with the board's attorney on questions of issues matter pertaining to.
That's the correct
That's
one.
the right-
Oh, that is the correct one. On questions and issues on matter pertaining to the board's powers, duties, privileges, immunities, and liabilities.
So. A motion second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any objections, reservations? Hearing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. We are now in executive session. Hey, thank you. We are back on the record. Commissioners,
Okay. So, Mr. Lu. The rule is a statutory rule. Has to be posted correctly for the amount of days that are listed there. And the whole idea was to give you the ability to correct it the first time. Okay?
Sure.
You corrected the number, but then you sent in things that weren't signed and were not corrected and the date was wrong and it wasn't notarized. So we can continue the matter for 2 weeks, keeping the public hearing open for you to submit a correct affidavit with the date correct and notarized. That would be what we would do.
Oh, yeah, so I see your choice, you have no choice.
So my motion is,
Like, do I, okay, fine, I can see.
if you had a question,
No, I was thinking about the affidavit that I found, need to be corrected.
yes.
and you can work with the administration to make sure that.
Okay, so my motion will be to continue agenda item number 1, transfer application 22-24474 for 2 weeks with the public hearing kept open. Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any objections, reservations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Agenda item number 1 is continued for 2 weeks. Public hearing left open.
Thank you very much.
Calling agenda item number 3, application number 22-24735 from Kamakura Hawaii LLC.
Good afternoon, Chairman Buckley, members of the commission, Naomi Cole, on behalf of the applicant. Present to my right is authorized agent Ms. Miyoko Yamanouchi from YAMANOUCHI. We have no changes to the Mexican report.
That's right.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. This application has received 1 written protest, 0 letters in support. Applicant has met statutory requirements for the submission of this application.
Is there anyone in the public who would like to provide testimony on agenda item number 3? Okay, hearing and seeing none, commissioners.
Ms. Cole, just to confirm, the floor plan on the right-hand side, that's outdoor seating, correct?
Yes, it is.
And we're gonna make sure we have barriers and boundaries, right, for people cannot move, and then you only have the 1 egress and entrance and exit, right?
There's 2.
There's 2. Okay,
1 in the front and 1 in the back.
okay. Okay, and then let's, if they're planters or something, let's make sure we have somebody assign that section so we make sure that there's
Oh, yeah.
nothing being passed back and forth, okay?
Yeah, we have a designated server there.
I have no other questions.
Ms. Cole, were you able to read the protest? And did you have any comment?
Yes, I believe the protester believed that this was going to be a bar with a lot of noise and entertainment, but it's not. It's a standard restaurant. It's a ramen restaurant. We do have a restaurant already open inside the Freeport Lanai in the Alamana Shopping Center. So it's very similar in terms of that concept, just a larger format of that with a little bit more food variety, but it's just a standard restaurant.
I move we approve application number 22-24735.
Second.
The motion and a second, any objections or reservations? Hearing and seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 22-24735 is approved. Thank you. Calling agenda item number 4, application number 22-739 from Jinya Hawaii.
Good afternoon, Chairman Buckley, members of the commission, Naomi Cole, on behalf of Jinya Hawaii. Present to my right is authorized agent Mr. Taku Teramoto, TARAMOTO. We have no changes to the investigative report.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Mr. Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. This application has received 0 written protests, 0 letters in support. Applicant has met statutory requirements for the submission of this application.
Is there anyone in the public who would like to provide testimony on this agenda item? Hearing and seeing none, commissioners.
It's called bar and lounge at the very end. Some of that's like somewhat of outside seating, correct, where it's kind of open air. And then I know that if I remember looking at the building is risen, right? So it's not where there's a walkway right outside, right? Okay, and then each one of the restaurants themselves are going to have separate entrances, correct?
That's correct.
I know wait staff can go in between, but customers cannot, correct?
Correct.
I don't have any other questions.
I move we approve application number 22-24739.
Second,
We've got a motion and a second. Any objections, reservations? Hearing and seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 22-24739 is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioners.
Calling agenda item number 5, application number 22-24746 from MC Concepts LLC DBA Feast.
Good afternoon, Chairman of the Commission, Greg Shoka, on behalf of the applicant. To my right is John Matsubara, J.O. And first name, last name, Matsubara, member manager. We have no changes and no corrections in the investigative report.
Thank you.
And Commissioner Hollinger.
Excuse me, before you go, Mr.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank
Jump
Thank
in
you,
there.
Mr. Chair and Commissioners. This application has received 0 written protests, 0 letters in support. Applicant has met statutory requirements for the submission of this application.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the public who would like to comment on or provide testimony on agenda item number 5? Hearing and seeing none, go ahead.
Commissioner Hollinger, to your right on the lower part, it is in lanai seating, but there is a demarcation, just like a wall, basically a little wall.
because I think there's like a bar, like where they can sit and put their food over there, right? Where they can sit and eat outside, right?
Right.
And then on the floor plan, that unlicensed under the restaurant, that's that only space that's gonna be unlicensed, correct?
Correct, and there's not gonna be any retail sales for takeout. I would note to the commission, pending before the current legislative session is House Bill 16, which would allow restaurant category licensees to sell takeout alcohol. So we're gonna hold that in abeyance for now, as far as selling any alcohol retail for takeout. Pending whatever happens to this, legislative bill that's pending.
And I had a comment on the retail. I know this application is for the restaurant portion, but we did have the hearing about the retail reduction a few weeks ago, a month ago. As I recall, the reduction was essentially only to the cooler in which you were selling the
Correct.
alcohol. Is that correct?
Correct.
How would you address issues like inventory, storage, and POS?
At this point in time, I think that's an issue that may be mooted out by the current legislation pending. If necessary, we could address that at that point in time. But my understanding is that none of the county commissions have objected to this amendment.
Yeah, and as you said, it may be moved, but if that does come back up.
We will address that. I think we will have to make spatial adjustments, et cetera, to accommodate whatever the commission feels is germane to the issue.
Thank you. Sure.
I have no other questions. Yeah, I don't want to ask.
I move we approve application number 22-24746.
Second,
Their motion and second, any objections or reservations? Hearing and seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 22-24746 is approved. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Calling agenda item number 6, application number 22-24817 from Path Food Co. Limited.
Chairman Buckley, members of the commission, Naomi Cole on behalf of Path Food Co. Limited. Present to my right is Secretary and Director, Ms. Ikuyo Kondo, spelled IKUYO, Kondo KONDO. We have no changes to the investigative report.
Thank you, Ms. Cole. Mr. Wright.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. This application has received 0 written protests, 0 letters in support. Applicant has met statutory requirements for the submission of this application.
Is there anyone who'd like to provide testimony on agenda item number 6? Hearing and seeing none, commissioners.
so Ms. Cole, just to confirm, right, I think at the preliminary, you folks had said that I'm looking at the floor plan, the very back portion that has the 2 doors, that's the only outside area, right?
That is the only outside seating area. Yes,
Okay.
that's correct.
And there's already where you had planters or some type of partitions, correct?
Yes, there's going to be a partition.
Okay. Thank you. Those are all the questions I have.
I move we approve application number 22-24817.
Second,
Got a motion and a second and objections or reservations. Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 22-24817 is approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Calling agenda item number 7, application number 22-24849 from One Team Restaurant AMC LLC.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Commission members, Kenneth, who are appearing for the applicant. To my right, Robert Phillips, PHILLIPS. He is the manager for the applicant.
Mr. Wright.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. This application has received 0 written protests, 0 letters in support. Applicants met statutory requirements for the submission of this application.
Anyone like to provide testimony on agenda item number 7? Hearing seeing none, commissioners, questions, comments, type of action.
Soon the floor plan, the only bar area is that one that's on the very far left, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, that's, I know that. If I remember, there's a bar area, then you have regular seating, like a wall section, right? Where there's like booths or something on the other side.
Those are tables.
Tables, yeah.
Tables, not-
Okay. All right, and yeah, there's no outside seating in this
No,
reservation area either, right?
that's correct.
I have no other questions.
Okay, move we approve application number 22-24849.
Second,
There's been a motion and second in the objections or reservations. Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 22-24849 is approved. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Calling agenda item number 8, application number 22-24921 from Earth Food USA Inc.
Good afternoon, members of the commission. Neil Gota, appearing on behalf of Earth Food USA Inc. My client apologizes. He had a urgent matter come up in Japan and had to fly back. I am the authorized representative and can answer any questions the commission may have.
That's fine. Thank you, Mr. Gota. Mr. Wright.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. This application has received 0 written protests, 0 letters in support. Applicants met statutory requirements for the submission of this application.
Thank you, Mr. Wright. Is there anyone who would like to provide testimony on agenda item number 8? Hearing and seeing none, commissioners, questions, comments, or type of action.
Mr. Gota, there's only one entrance, right? The one that's on Wynham Avenue,
Yes.
all enclosed, yeah. I didn't see anything that was like outside at all, yeah.
Correct. It's a small space, 15 to 20 customers.
Okay, no bar seating, huh?
No.
Just gonna be on the tables, yeah.
Correct.
No other questions.
And move we approve application number 22-24921.
Second,
There a motion and a second, any objections or reservations? Hearing and seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 22-24921 is approved.
Thank you very
Mr.
much.
Gota. Moving into license applications, special license application, calling agenda item number 9, application number 23-01682 from Honolulu Japanese Chamber of Commerce. Yeah.
Good afternoon. Steve DeRuy, president of the Honolulu Japanese Chamber of Commerce. Applying for special non-district general license for our upcoming chopstick and wine fundraiser. We're happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Drury. Could you just walk us through the events?
The event will be on Thursday, April 13th. We have VIP seating that'll where the doors open at 5:30, half an hour prior to the general public. We expect a crowd of about 1,200 people. And it basically is a wine tasting event featuring 12 restaurants that we've already signed up, and wines featured by RNDC and Young's Market.
There, as a wine tasting, I'm presuming there will be no one under 21.
Absolutely. So we've made it a over 21 event. We will be IDing everyone as they come in, and they'll be assigned a wristband.
Commissioners, any other questions, comments, or type of action?
How are ticket sales going so far?
We've sold out the VIP tables, 54 tables. So now we're on individual tickets. So ticket count is about 900 now.
Get your tickets quickly then.
Yes.
Mr. Taria, you guys are gonna be having this at the convention center, correct?
Yes.
I know it's a wine tasting, and we shouldn't have anybody that's going to get to have had too much to drink, but have you guys made sure that if there is that possibility, or if someone is unable to drive home, that they are going to be able to leave their car at the convention center and use Uber or Lyft?
Yes, that's kind of standard procedure there.
Okay, that's all the questions I had.
Right, I move we approve application number 23-01682.
Second,
Then a motion and a second, any objections or reservations? Hearing and seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 23-01682 is approved.
Okay, thank you very much.
Moving into preliminary hearings, calling agenda item number 10, transfer application number 22-24800 from Outrigger East LLC.
Good afternoon, Chair, members of the commission, Mr. Ryan. I'm Robert Uyoka on behalf of Outrigger East LLC. Present to my right, Ms. Barbara Campbell. She's the vice president of Outrigger Hospitality Group. We have no changes to the investigative report. This involves a transfer of a hotel license among related Outrigger entities.
Mr. Uyoka. Commissioners, questions, comments, or action?
Mr. Uyoka, just a quick question on the floor plans. Your first two, right? I guess those are gonna be the bottom floors.
Yes,
And so is some of that space outside of the building itself?
they're all contained in the building. We have a couple of licensees in there, existing licensees.
Okay, and that's those other spaces. Okay. All right, that's all the questions I had.
So this is a corporate restructuring. Is any management, practical day-to-day management change?
No change in operations, it's just some more corporate restructuring and related entities.
I move we approve transfer application number 22-24800.
Second,
Then a motion and a second, any objections or reservations? Hearing and seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Transfer application number 22-24800 is approved. Thanks, Mr. Uyoka. Thank you. Calling agenda item number 11, application number 22-24755 from Yoon Young, DBA Friendly Store.
The candor, yeah.
Thank you. Name, made a record, it's like Ray Lucas, counsel for the applicant.
Good afternoon, Mr. Luke. So this matter has been continued a few times. We have sought counsel from corporate counsel on a legal interpretation of a statute that's applicable in this matter. Corporate counsel has responded to us. We've been able to review corporate counsel's opinions and recommendations. I will start by summarizing my comments and inclinations, and then I'll open to the commissioners and to the licensee.
Sure.
I'll briefly summarize the statute. The statute in issue in this case is HRS Hawaii Revised Statutes 281-95. It involves the death of a licensee. It states, and I'm summarizing, if a licensee dies before the expiration of the term of the licensee's license, then the licensee's trustee in bankruptcy, assignee, or personal representative, as the case may be, with the consent of the Liquor Commission, continue to exercise the license for the purpose of closing the affairs of the estate. But if not so continued, within 45 days, the commission shall cancel this license. The record reflects that the licensee died on or around February 17th, 2021, and that is before the expiration of the term of the liquor license. So in that case, this provision is triggered, and the licensee's trustee in bankruptcy, assignee, or personal representative would have to seek consent from the Liquor Commission to continue to exercise the license. We understand that you, Mr. Luke, appeared before this commission and sought approval and obtained approval to file a renewal for this license. At the time, however, it appears from the record that you are not the trustee in bankruptcy, you are not an assignee, and you are not the personal representative. In fact, in July 12th, 2021, long after the 45-day period under the statute, the personal representative was finally
That's correct.
approved by the state court. Unfortunately, it appears from the record that there was no personal representative, assignee, or licensee's trustee in bankruptcy that sought and received consent from the Liquor Commission within the 45-day period under this statute to continue the license. In that case, the license should have terminated. I have some empathy in this case. I understand, Mr. Luke, you were operating on your client's best interest. You were trying to
Sure.
make a good, trying to extend the license under difficult circumstances. I understand that. I also understand that 45 days under the statute is tough for a personal representative to be, I'll get to, hold on. Is tough to get in state court to get approval, but that's what the statute says and that's what we're bound by. I do believe there are ways to resolve this. However, per the statute, and we as a commission have to apply the statutes as they're written, especially if they're unambiguous like this statute appears to be. We are supposed to and should have canceled this license. Therefore, I'm inclined to continue this matter for 2 weeks. That would give the licensee and yourself, Mr. Luke, time to file any sort of requests or documents with the court, sorry, not with the court, with the commission, to find an alternative solution for this matter. And I do believe one exists. That's my inclination. I can open it up now to you, Mr. Luke, and to the commission.
Yeah, before going any further, I am, any decision you make now as to the cancellation, it doesn't affect my application today. We're not the licensee, and any, what you went over should go, should be to the licensee. The licensee should be served and informed, of the decision that the commission is going to make.
Well, Mr. Luke, if the license is terminated, then the transfer application is because there's no license to
Yeah.
transfer.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is that if there's any cancellation, it should go against the current owner right now. We're just the applicant for a temporary license.
As
Understood.
noted.
Understood.
Yes.
Understood.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So in this case, I would ask that since there really is no license to pass over, that we give, you give leave for us to withdraw this application.
That is what the 2-week continuance is for, Mr. Luke.
Oh, yeah, no,
For
at
you
this
to
time,
address this as you
and
deem
then-
appropriate.
any other action should be taken against the current licensee. That's what I'm saying.
Understood.
And in the meanwhile, yeah, I've planned this and that will give us time to file a temporary permanent license.
This again.
Was there some representation that you represented the licensee, the license holder as well?
They just matter only the temporary.
Right. Facts were that you had represented, that you were also authorized representative. for the
I-
national license.
Yeah, how many authorized agent to transfer the license?
For the record, are you no longer an authorized representative?
I am an
of the
authorized,
Original license holder.
yes, just for the transfer. You see, the person,
Question is- for the council.
what was the question?
In order to cancel the license, the commission needs to have an agenda item.
Yes, that's what I'm
on a
saying.
future calendar date, and
Yeah.
the licensee needs to be contacted to be made known of that calendar date. Would you be the authorized agent for the licensee for that cancellation?
I think the person that probably in control is the probate attorney, would have the interest in them.
Or the personal representative?
Oh, yeah. The personal representative was the
It's your client under the transfer.
I was never, I represented her, right, just to transact the transfer.
Go ahead, Mr.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Do you have anything else? I'm sorry to interrupt.
What was that?
Did you have anything else? I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh, no.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Gog, any other comments?
We can work with Mr. Luke offline.
Yeah.
In terms of coordinating, whether or not you want to, for example, ask for permission to convert the existing temp application process to a stamp or what have, but we don't have to have that discussion.
Sure.
Yeah, it sounds like you already have a course of action.
Yeah, he has a
planned,
plan.
So
Yes,
my inclination is to continue this matter. If you get a request in before the next scheduled hearing date, we can hear them all at the same time.
if you can do maybe 2 more weeks, I think it'd be helpful.
I mean, more beyond 4/13? Yeah, 4/27? Is that what you're saying? The motion is to continue 2 more weeks to April 13th.
Whatever, we can work.
You want additional time?
If you can get, 1 month, I think. I
It
think
sort of
we can
depends
solve
on the corporation council, how much breathing room they're willing to give us to work on this matter. So there's scheduling 13, 20, and 27. For council, or is there going to be an objection if we give Mr. Luke more than 2 more weeks, or?
I'm not gonna have.
Well, then how much time would you like?
to the 27th.
Okay,
It's really, that's right, to the 27th will be fine.
Commissioners?
Mr. Sato, I think had.
Mr. Sato.
What they. Raised something, sorry.
Supervising Investigator Daniel Santo, at this point, I don't know if it's possible to request that the license be surrendered. Based on his admission.
I don't think that request can be brought before us without a scheduled hearing. I don't think we can accept that request without it being agendized.
Okay. Mr. Luke signed a transfer application as a licensee.
Yes. The transfer license.
The transfer or
My authority was to transfer the license.
that means you were acting as an agent for the license.
That's correct.
So
Between me and the license was just to transfer the license.
Okay, Mr. Santo, it sounds like he's confirming what you stated. He was authorized agent for the license in order to file the application.
correct. And it's his signature on the application. Which he's saying that he's authorized to act on behalf of the licensee as a licensee. The licensee's agent.
To transfer the license.
Well, point of order, I don't
But in
believe,
any event, it has, if there's a cancellation, it has to be an agenda.
for the cancellation, but point of order, the commission
I'm
couldn't
not sure.
hear and move on a request that's put before us without an agenda item.
well, you would not be able to, I mean, because you only have 3, you can't even move to amend the agenda. You could not add on
Right.
a request or action, you can't, because there's only 3 of you.
So Mr. Santo's request, if such a request was to be presented before the commission, it would have to be presented as a request and then put on the agenda.
Yes.
That's what I'm. Do you have anything else, Mr. Santo? No. Thank you. Commission, any other comments or questions on this matter?
Did you have anything, Sagar? Okay. So I guess the question would be the 27th, we would make a motion to continue the matter till the April 27th meeting.
Don't think we need a motion for it, but we could.
You're just continuing the matter.
Okay,
And then we'll add on to that particular day, whatever other cleanup stuff needs to happen. Gives everybody plenty of time.
And Mr. Sato, did you want us to address the surrender of the license at that time?
Well, I
It may
guess
be a
I'll work
good
with,
point because it'd be a cancellation.
yeah, we'll work with enforcement on that one.
Thank you.
So agenda item number 11 is continued to the April 27th hearing calendar. That's really-
Thank you.
Calling agenda item number 12, application number 23-00985 from TK World LLC.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm Min Young-woo on behalf of TK World LLC. No changes to the investigative report.
You, commissioners, comments, questions, or a type of action?
We approve application number 23-00985.
second,
Got a motion and a second. Any objections or reservations? Hearing and seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 23-00985 is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Agenda item number 13, application number 23-01220 from U.S. Property Investment Fund HI1LP. Good afternoon. Mr. Hu.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Commission members, Kenneth Hu appearing for the applicant. To my right is Nora Foronda, Foronda. She's a county manager for the applicant. This is for a temporary license. This is the Queen Kapilani Hotel.
And this is in connection with a transfer application.
That's correct. A transfer application has been filed. Hopefully will be processed soon.
So the license is still active.
Yes.
Commissioners.
I have no questions.
I move we approve application number 23-01220.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any objections or reservations? Hearing and seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 23-01220 is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Calling agenda item number 14, application number 23-01481 from Canoia Limited Liability Company.
To my right is Mr. Shilwin, spelled XIAO space WEN space LIN. He's a member of the applicant LLC, Mid-American Select Wayne Lucas Council. We have no changes to the investigators report.
This is a temporary application in connection with the transfer application that's been filed. Is that correct? And the license is still active.
Yes,
To your knowledge, has there been any issues recently?
what
To
the-
your knowledge, has there been any issues recently with the license?
No.
Commissioners,
This is the old Odorico, right? Across
it's on the recall
Close to-
transferring.
24 Fitness company, right? Okay,
Yes,
I have no other questions.
I move we approve application number 23-01481.
Second.
been a motion and a second. Any objections or reservations? Hearing and seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 23-01481 is approved. Thank you. Thank you.
thank you.
Moving into requests, calling agenda item number 15, request number 23-00255 from Aloha Ponto Waikiki LLC.
Good afternoon, Chair and Commissioners. Ross Shinsato, authorized agent. To my right is Yusuke Ishikawa, manager.
I see the licensing investigative report combines request number 23-00255 and request number 23-00257. As a point of order, can we move to approve both requests at the same time if the investigative report combines them?
In order to take action on 15 and 16, I think you would need to call both.
And point of order, can we call both simultaneously or do we have to call them each individually as we typically do?
I think I mean, just as long as you identify the request numbers, it can be done in a single action.
Okay, so in that case, recalling agenda item number 15, request number 23-00255 and calling agenda item number 16, request number 23-00257. You just please make your appearance again for the record.
Good afternoon, Chair and Commissioners. Ross Shinsato, authorized agent. And to my right is Yusuke Ishikawa, manager.
So could you just summarize this? It's an alteration and reduction of your premises.
Yes, we're reducing the premises of the far end, about 480 square feet. And to close up the area, we're gonna move planters and also install umbrella posts.
Thank you, commissioners.
So the reduction, are you saying you put planters and then umbrella posts to block so people kind of get through? to get to the changed area. Or
Because of the
reduced
reduction, it will be a path, old path that is existing. So we're gonna put a planter to close off that open area.
area. Okay. And then the current space, right? We're doing both together, right? Okay, and the current space, right, I guess you guys are gonna put umbrella posts or umbrella areas, right, to spread out, put umbrellas on the areas outside.
Yes, for shade and rain protection.
Okay. And the current licensed space has walls, planters or something blocking that outside area to not allow people to take stuff outside of that area, correct?
On the Kalakaua Avenue side, street side, there's planters,
Okay,
and towards the building, there's fencing.
okay. Then I would suggest, I mean, I know it's hard, but make sure we have someone continually watching that pathway where that planter box is, because if it can be moved, we don't want people jumping over, getting into that space, okay? Yeah, I don't have any other questions or either one.
Okay, approve request number 23-00255. Oh, I'm sorry.
You can add them together in the motion.
Oh, and request number 23-00257.
Second,
There's been a motion and a second. Any objections or reservations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Request number 23-00255 and request number 23-00257 are approved.
Thank you.
Could I have a motion for agenda items number 17 through 23?
motion for adoption of decision in order for agenda items 17 through 23 inclusive.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any objections or reservations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Decisions in order are adopted for agenda items number 17 through 23 inclusive. That's before the adjudication hearing, right?
Yeah.
The commission will take a 5-minute recess before adjudications. Thank you. Thank you. We're back on the record. Thank you for the brief recess. We'll move into adjudication hearings. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Thomas Snapsiger, Deputy Corporation Counsel on behalf of the City and County of Honolulu.
Calling agenda item number 24, LCB 22-0127, Hawaii Yacht Club.
Oh, sorry.
Good afternoon.
Proceed, is that correct, sir?
Yes,
All right.
and please state your name and spell your name for the record.
Yes, sir. My name is Mike Claus, Mike. Last name is Claus, Claus.
Mr. Nabzinger, may you please read the charge?
On or about September 7th, 2022, in the City and County of Honolulu, State of Hawaii, licensee failed to have an employee duly registered with the Liquor Commission as a manager or assistant manager of the premises on which he or she is employed, in active charge of the licensed premises in violation of Rule 3-82-38.9 subsection A of the Rules of the Liquor Commission of the City and County of Honolulu.
Mr. Claus, you
Yes,
can accept the charge, deny the charge, or plead no contest.
no contest, it means we are guilty. It wasn't meant to be deceitful or anything like that.
If we need to take a plead and then you can, then we can go through the process and we'll give you a chance to explain.
Okay,
So it's either accept, deny, or plead no contest.
if I wanted to plead, that would be no contest. I get to tell my story. Is that correct, sir?
Yes.
That'd be fine.
So you're gonna, sorry, I just need you to put on the record, you're gonna plead no contest.
Exactly, that's correct.
Motion to accept the plea.
Second.
Been a motion and a second. Any objections, reservations? Hearing seeing none. I also vote aye. The motion carries. The plea is accepted.
Mr. Nabzinger, your recommendation for the charge, please.
This is a first-time violation. The recommended fine is $500.
Okay, Mr. Claus, your explanation.
It was quite easy. The manager was called off duty. He had gone through and the person who was on premises and left had recently just passed her test. She was supposed to submit the correct letter to get the manager's approval for instances like this. It didn't happen. She had to go back and get that. She already passed her license and what have you. So it was an error on our part. And unbeknownst to the gentleman who was the manager had to leave rather urgently. No excuse. We have to plead on your mercy. Hopefully you can see that we are a small company and we pay our fees. We're a member of the state of Hawaii. We pay our fees on a monthly basis and stuff like that. So whatever leniency you can grant us would be great. Other than that, pleasure being here.
Just a quick question. This is the first violation for this particular provision. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And do you know of or aware of any other adjudications that have come up for the Hawaii Yacht Club other than?
I've not in my tenure. I'm the new what is that? Commodore. And so I'm not totally honest. I don't know their record. I'm sure my prosecutor probably has a list if he wants to make a case. So to my knowledge, I don't know of any.
Mr. Nabzinger, question. So this happened on September 7th, 2022.
Correct.
Do you know what time the investigators showed up to the establishment?
Based on the investigative report, it appears that they arrived just after 9 p.m.
9 p.m. Mr. Claus, were you the Commodore at this date or did you come?
No,
in
I was
before?
elected after that and started serving the beginning of the year.
Okay. So the lady or the person that was in charge that had done everything but did not pick up the manager's card.
Yes.
What is her age?
Her age, she's 23, 24.
But she has her card correctly now, right?
That is correct, sir.
And you know that you need to have a duly registered manager
Yes,
in charge of the place all the time.
I'm fully aware of it. I just recently took the test myself.
Okay.
And that was evident throughout all the testing. If your uncle's in the hospital, in the emergency room, you can't leave until you relieve or you close the bar. So
Okay.
that's what goes on.
And you guys now have better emergency procedures in place if a manager needs to leave for someone to come on?
Yes, sir.
All right, so my motion is going to be to issue a letter of reprimand for agenda item number 24.
Second.
Been a motion and second. Any objections or reservations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. A letter of reprimand will be issued for agenda item number 24.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
Calling agenda item number 25, LCB 22-0122 Kalihi Station.
Commissioner Gregory Field page, during on behalf of the election seat. I was talking to Mr. Knappenter earlier this afternoon. We would like to continue this matter for 2 weeks. I did have the opportunity to review the discovery with the licensee's owner yesterday. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here today, so I want her present. She's probably going to enter a plea of no contest, just for the record.
Mr. Nessing, is that correct?
No objection.
Mr. I, 2 weeks,
Mhm.
that calendar date. Mr. I,
Yes, I'm sorry.
is that an acceptable calendar date?
It
for
it
us?
is, it's not the standard designated continuance date, but if Corporation Council does not have an objection, we can schedule for the 13th.
No objection.
That is the date actually we discussed.
Great. Okay, so agenda item number 25 is continued for 2 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling agenda item number 26, LCB 22-0140 Study Hall Sports Bar and Grill Smokehouse University. Calling agenda item number 26, Study Hall Sports Bar and Grill Smokehouse University. Could we call outside, please? Okay, it appears there's no one here for agenda item number 26, Mr. Nassinger.
We would request entry of default at this time.
Motion for default judgment on agenda item number 26.
Second.
Been a motion and a second. Any objections or reservations? Hearing and seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Default is entered for agenda item number 26.
Mr. Nabziger, what is your recommendation?
This violation occurred on August 31st, 2022, when licensee failed to submit its annual employee listing. This is a first violation. The recommended fine is $250.
Does the report show when they turned it in?
It does not appear to be in the report. However, on September 30th, 2022, approximately 1 month later, they still had not submitted it and follow-up calls were made. I have no information past that date.
Mr. Nafziger, this is the same licensee that appeared maybe a week or two ago? Or am I confusing that?
I do not believe so.
Oh, okay.
We have another one later this evening that defaulted 2 weeks ago.
No, but I think he came in.
He came in.
He came in, but I don't know if it was you or Mr. Jacobs.
If it was last week, I was not here.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I think it was Mr. Jacobs.
Yeah.
Is there, don't want to ask this, but I mean, is there a way to find out if they've turned it in as of yet?
Would it affect your motion?
My question was just that I believe he was served and appeared last week. And I assume that he was served again, chose not to appear this week.
Yeah, for the record, Mr. Nassinger, could you discuss service of process for agenda item 26?
The only certificate of service I have in here looks like it was served in January of 23. I'm not sure if that was for today's hearing or not, though.
Yeah, I'll just go ahead and put on the record, the initial notice of hearing will be served upon the licensee or representative. Subsequent continuances are done by letter. There should be a copy of the letter somewhere. I might be able to, I don't know if it'll be in my in my copy, I could look. if you
I'm not sure if they were here last week though, because according to the agenda, the last continuance was from February 9th.
No, but it was, I mean, I will say this, that it was not for this type of violation. It was a
Oh.
different violation.
Not having a manager. I believe.
Yeah, not having a manager on duty and some
Understood.
other things. Continue from February 9th, was that because that they weren't able to get service or something? Because it just says down here, continue from February 9th. So
Do you recall, Mr.
I
Knapp?
do not.
Yeah. Hold on. Okay, let me I just want to check the LCD 22.
What was that?
Okay, with respect to LCV 22-0140. What I can confirm is that by US mail and email to Doug Morrison, he was given a letter indicating that his hearing on February 9th. Commission continued the adjudication matter that I just stated to Thursday, March 30th at 4. Now, these are mailed, they're not served, but I can confirm the letter went out by US mail and email to Mr. Morrison.
Okay,
Thank you, Mr. Ryan.
all right. Okay, my motion is going to be to approve the recommended fine of $250 for agenda item number 26.
Second.
There a motion and a second, any objections, reservations, hearing is none, I also vote aye, the motion carries a fine of $250 for agenda item number 26. Calling agenda item number 27, LCV 22-0141, study hall sports bar and grill smokehouse university. Would you make a call outside for agenda item number 27? There's no appearance for agenda item number 27, Mr. Nassinger.
We would request entry of default at this time.
For the record, could you note how service was served in this agenda item?
The certificate of service also indicates a service date of January 21st, 2023. I do not have a copy of the continuance letter, which was sent afterwards.
Okay, I can put that on the record. The file reflects a letter dated March 15th, US mail and email to Mr. Douglas Morrison with respect to LCV number 22-0141, indicating that the matter was continued from the originally scheduled date to Thursday, March 30th, 2023 at 4.
Motion for default judgment on agenda item number 27.
Second.
Then a motion and a second, any objection or reservation, hearing seeing none, I also vote aye, the motion carries, default is entered for agenda item number 27.
Mr. Nassinger, your recommendations for number 27.
This violation occurred on October 8th, 2022, when licensee employed Devin Stevens without said employee being properly registered. This is a first violation. The recommended fine is $350.
Okay. Question for this violation, October 2nd, 2022, does it show a time that they came?
According to the investigator report, investigators arrived at 9:52 p.m.
Does it show anywhere in there, is there any manager working or anyone else working that had correct credentials?
It appears that manager Michael Powell was on duty and was verified via his manager's card.
That was the guy who came last weekend.
Yeah.
Oh,
I believe
wasn't
that.
the other guy? Okay. My motion is going to be to approve the recommended fine of $350 for agenda item number 27.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, any objections or reservations, hearing seeing none, I also vote aye, the motion carries. A fine of $350 will be imposed for agenda item number 27. Calling agenda item number 28, LCV 22-0134, Beer Lab Hawaii. I will make a disclosure that in this matter, I have a conflict of interest and I would have had to recuse myself. I believe notice was provided to the licensee. We would have not had quorum for this matter. Is that correct, Mr. Nixon?
That is correct. I contacted the licensee. I told them that we would schedule it to the next available when we had it.
Thank you. So agenda item number 28 is continued to the next available calendar date when quorum will be present. Calling agenda item number 29, LCV 22-0091, Boles Burritos LLC. Good afternoon.
Hi, my name's Kathy Bowles, KATHY BOWLES.
Mr. Navziger, could you please read the charge?
On or about June 24, 2022, in the city and county of Honolulu, state of Hawaii, licensee's employee Jeffrey Richard Jolie, whose conduct licensee is strictly accountable for under Rule 3-84-78.01 subsection A, consumed liquor while on duty on the licensed premises in violation of Rule 3-84-78.01 subsection B of the Rules of the Liquor Commission of the city and county of Honolulu.
And Ms. Bowles, how would you like to plead? You can accept the charge, deny the charge, plead no contest.
I'd like to plead no contest, but please with that.
Yes, we'll let you explain once we go through the process. Motion to accept the plea.
Second.
We've got a motion and a second. Any objections or reservations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. The plea is accepted.
Mr. Navziger, your recommendations, please.
This is licensee's first violation. The recommended fine is $500.
And Ms. Bowles, what is your explanations?
Well, I'm not sure how much it changes the situation, but Jeff isn't or never ever has been an employee of ours. He is a very regular customer. He comes in for lunch and cocktails all the time. And I don't know my age showing here. It was some kind of music thing he got from his girlfriend. And he asked the friends at the bar if he could turn it on. And I don't really know. I think the old fashioned notion is kind of like the spinning record thing. And yes, he did have a cocktail, but he's never, ever been an employee.
Mr. Navziger, does it state in the file or investigators report how they determined that individual was considered an employee?
It appears as though he was performing as the DJ that evening.
It's true. He did bring in his new music box thing. I wasn't there and I don't really know what to call it. And he asked if he could practice and let everybody hear his new thing. So, but definitely not an employee.
And did you pay him? Was he contracted
Oh,
to
no.
come in? He
No,
just
no.
came in just that.
He kind of felt, I think, from what I hear, is it was a favor to him to practice his new. And since then, he now does it in Chinatown somewhere. But we've never paid him. He's never been an employee. And again, I wasn't there. But from what the workers tell me, he said, can I practice? Can I show you guys my new thing? So.
Okay. So. Let's see. So. I guess a question I would have is, do you have where you guys can play music or any kind of stuff already in your license, right? Because technically
Yes.
there's something. Have you had other people come and do recorded music or played music for your people?
We have a guy that comes every Tuesday. He's come for, say, 6 years, maybe.
Okay,
Regular Tuesday night, Rob West. Yeah.
Is he a contractor? You pay him?
We pay him.
okay. All right, so my comment is going to be this: make sure your managers and everybody know in the future. Anybody that's going to be playing some kind of music for you, even if you're not paying them, they could be considered working for you or part of your employees, because people that do those types of things fall under certain categories for licensees. Okay. My motion will be to issue a letter of reprimand for agenda item number 29.
Second.
Been a motion and a second. Any objections or reservations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. A letter of reprimand will be issued for agenda item number 29.
Thank you. And they have all been told.
Right.
Appreciate your
Good news,
time.
thank you.
Calling agenda item number 30, LCV 23-0007, 2012 Honolulu. Anyone here to appear for agenda item number 30? Could we please call in the hallway? Thank you. It appears that no one is here to appear for agenda item number 30. If I'm not mistaken, this was continued for the penalty phase only. Is that correct? Mr. Knapp?
That is correct. Default judgment was entered on March 16.
And could you give us the recommendation in this matter?
This violation occurred on January 20th, 2023, when licensee permitted the sale, service, or consumption of liquor after hours at 2:19 a.m. This is licensee's first violation. The recommended fine is $690, which it consists of a $500 base fine and a $190 surcharge for the 19 minutes over. I will also add that the continuation letter was mailed and emailed to the licensee on March 17th, 2023.
Thank you, Mr. Hudson. And could you, for the record, just note again the initial service?
Initial service was made on February 25th, 2023.
I'd like to go into deliberations. Allegations.
Shall I deliberate?
I like it.
Okay, thank you. We are back on the record. Thank you for giving us time to deliberate, commissioners.
Okay, so for agenda item number 30, my motion is going to be to impose a fine of $793.50 for the default judgment.
Am I allowed to talk after his motion?
You can second and then we can open up.
Okay, I second.
Would you like to open up for discussion?
Just to make the statement that in providing a second opportunity for the licensee to appear and not showing up is a serious matter, and that is the purpose for a fine above the default judgment.
And to add to that, we only continued this matter because the violation itself was, we felt significant enough to continue the matter to have them appear before us. There's a motion and a second on the table. Any objections or reservations? Hearing and seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. A fine of $793.50 will be imposed for agenda item number 30.
The first. Where we got sense in there. So.
Yeah, I thought it was important
We're down
to statewide. So
calling agenda item number 31, LCV 22-0065, Juan J Corporation. Can we state our names and spell our names for the record?
Anjali, WANJAELE. And I'm the interpreter from Bilingual Access Line, Charles Hill, CHARLESHIL. Korean English interpreter.
Thank you. And before we proceed on this matter, I understand that you were initially scheduled to be here from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. We are running up on that
No
hour
problem.
already.
I can stay as long as you need.
Okay, thank you very much.
Happy to do it.
Okay, thank you very much. Are the parties ready to proceed with a contested case in this matter?
Yes.
And is the licensee prepared to continue with the contested case today?
I'm sorry.
Is the licensee prepared to continue with the contested case today?
Yes.
You're ready
I do
for
want
six.
to
Okay.
continue.
Thank you. Okay, so we're going to do some procedural matters first. Are there any witnesses that the prosecution would like to call?
Yes,
And were those witnesses disclosed timely?
yes.
And do you have any witnesses that you're going to call this evening?
I sent evidence, video evidence.
And
Was it?
we'll get to that in a minute, so don't worry.
Okay, but that was the evidence. But I have no. Yeah, I run my business alone, and so everything I do is, I did it, so I'm the witness for myself.
Okay, so
But I do not have people, I just sent evidence in.
Okay. In that case, the witnesses on your witness list is accepted. As to exhibits, the prosecution, do you have any exhibits that you're going to submit in this matter?
Yes.
And were those timely provided to the commission? I see that we have here prosecution exhibit A 2022-0149 Smith's Union Bar. Is that correct? Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm in the wrong calendar. I'm sorry about that. Okay. So I see prosecution's exhibit A 2022-0065. Is that the exhibit that you'd wish to
That's correct. It's documents bait stamped P01 through P09.
Okay, so prosecution's exhibit A is admitted into admitted as evidence. That all you have for exhibits?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Licensee, what did you have in terms of evidence that you were presenting to us?
내가 보낸 거를 설명해봐. 레코딩한 거.
I sent in a video recording as evidence and audio and audio of my voice in my shot at the time of the incident.
Okay, were those timely submitted in accordance with the rules that we provided?
To the
드라이브에 업로딩.
according to Google uploading, I think protocols he submitted.
Commissioners, I can represent that disclosures were made on time. However, I'm not sure about the audio recording. We only have videos and screenshots.
The video has the audio. The second video.
Okay, and you're making the representation that everything was timely.
Yes, the disclosures were made timely.
Commissioners, do you see this in the folder?
I now see it.
This one, that's on their computer, that's not ours.
I believe that the exhibits were not included in yours. I intend on objecting to the admission of all exhibits.
Okay, go ahead and make that objection.
Okay, we would object to video ending in 0642 for relevance. The video is dated October 17, 2021, which is months before the date of the incident in this case. Same objection for video ending in 7050. That video is dated April 23rd, 2022, which was a month before the incident. Video 9643 has no, or I'm sorry, video 789 has no date stamp or timestamp on the video. So I would object based on foundation, as well as the remaining video and screenshot. The video has no foundation and the screenshot has no evidentiary value whatsoever. So I would object based on relevance.
Okay, thank you, prosecution. Do you understand the objection?
Yes. Yes. Is it all right if I speak to that?
Yes, please.
Yes.
첫 번째로 그걸 보낸 이유는 내가 문을 원래 닫고 정리를 한다는 걸 보여주기 위해서.
The reason I sent the video in question, the October video, I believe, sir, April, it was or April video, was to show that I run my business with the doors shut, but not locked sometimes, and that was evidence to support that. I do not always keep the door propped open, but it was shut, but not locked. And that shows customers coming and going in the closed door of my business. 계속해서.
그리고 두 번째로 보낸 비디오는 리커 커미셔너가 들어와서 그 밖에서 술 마시는 거에 대한 거를 바이올레이션 좀안 된다고 했고 퀘스천을 하니까 갔기 때문에 4월에
There's an April dated video that I submitted in which it shows that I need to hear it one more time.
밖에서 술 마시는 거에 대한 거를 안 된다고 말해요.
This was about an inspector telling him coming in, and that video is saying that you cannot have people drinking outside your establishment in the table area. And then he was saying that but he was saying that is not an alcoholic drink. It was a 0% alcohol, I mean, the company produces beer, but they also produce zero alcohol. And he said it was a 0%. And he said, does that also one that cannot be imbibed outside on my premises outside? And at that point, the inspectors did not answer the inspector did not answer my question, but left. And there was no violation. And that video is to support evidence that there's a lot of there. Yeah, that there were several months when inspectors came to his business regularly, and he didn't understand why they were coming often to his business. Pretty cool. Next.
미시스 내가
그때는 아직 지금은 비디오 왜 제출했는지 말씀. 여기까지 첫 번째, 두 번째, 세 번째.
그리고 이제 그거 바깥쪽 창문을 비치고 있는 카메라만 나한테 레코드가 남아 있어.
Yes, and it's been so long ago that the only video I had to submit, and speaking of the third one at this time, was a camera that's aimed outside, not inside. And it's not a very good video, but the video I had has been lost that in the time that's passed, that there was video and in places like the platform Kakao Talk. He had it there and but these videos, that's all I have of evidence that I can find to submit. And this is why I submitted it. The 1, 2, 3 summary again is one, to show that my door to my business.
I don't think.
No need. Okay, as an interpreter, sometimes I just want to make sure I've said what he said
I think we have.
and not what I would think.
But my inclination, I do question relevancy to some extent in this matter, but my inclination would be to overrule the objection and admit the evidence and have it go to weight. Commissioners, do you have any comments on that?
Comment on go to weight.
The weight that we would assess.
Oh,
the evidence.
go to weight. Got it. I think it's
My comment would be that, I think it's fair to at least look at what he has provided to see his explanation of certain things and then use it as you had stated toward weight in how we say.
appropriate to ask Mr. Nafziger questions as we go through this, or is there a back and forth?
We're at the, depending, I guess, on what you're asking.
No,
We're at the stage where-
I just meant in terms of the stipulation of what the videos would show. I don't see in your sense the relevancy relative to the charges that were presented. So even if you stipulated the impressions that he wanted to give with the video, is that relevant for you in presenting your case?
Our opinion is that this involves whether or not the door was locked on May 7th, 2022, and any video from a date other than that is completely and entirely irrelevant and has no evidentiary value to this hearing.
I think he was only representing that the door is closed. It's irrelevant whether it was locked or not to.
Absolutely.
Okay, I see. Okay.
Mr. Lee would like to speak to that if it's all right. Of why the relevancy of that video of the door, because it matters to him that the door was not locked at the time of the charge.
I think, I mean,
You all understand.
we understand.
From the date of the incident.
Yeah, I wish this was.
Any other comments based on? So I'll go with my inclination. I will overrule the objection. I will admit it into evidence, but it will go towards the weights in terms of relevancy.
Video leg. Video game. 비디오는 받아들인다.
그리고 지금 그 이후로 문제 체인지하고
그거는 아직 설명을 할 수 있습니다. There are things that questions in Mr. Lee's mind. I'll speak as if I'm Mr. Lee. I have questions about when I'm supposed to explain.
We'll
That's,
cover
he has
that.
questions about when he will have an opportunity to explain.
We'll cover that,
Okay,
no problem.
couldn't QA to get that real.
So licensees exhibits are admitted into evidence for this contested case. So we will have opening statements from the prosecution and the licensee. And then we'll move into witnesses. We believe there's only one witness. We'll move into the witnesses. And we'll be able to move into closing arguments. So the city can provide its opening statement.
This is a very simple matter. Licensee violated rule 3-84-72.2 on May 7th, 2022 by having a street entrance locked with a customer inside.
And you may provide your opening statement.
Statement about this charge.
Statement about this charge in agenda item number 31.
Yeah, the door was not locked. The door was closed. There was a person outside who did try the door to come inside one time and did not, was unable to open the door and so simply stood outside. In the report I received from the commission, that content is left out. That the door was tried once and then not tried again. The video that I submitted is trying to explain that I'm showing that the person who was waiting outside who had tried the door one time did come inside later in my store.
And then mention that
Came inside, bought a bottle of water, and then at the time of leaving,
and I tried to lock the door.
I tried to lock my door at that time, and that guest left. And at that time, an inspector came in. Okay. And I was given a notice of violation of having a door locked while operating my business. My statement is I did not have the door locked.
outside the video 봤을 때는 그 남자는 문에 손도 안
He said, when I looked at the video that I had at that time, the temporary video, at that time, I did see someone, the woman, I don't know, young or old, the woman who came, tried the door once and then stood outside, and then later came inside and bought water. I did see that on the video, but the man who came and issued the violation never tried the door, never touched the door. How is it known that my door to my business was locked and with the customer inside?
A question or?
That's a question. No, Mr. Lee has a number of questions, actually.
Well, this is an opening statement. There's
Oh, but well, I guess he doesn't understand. I'm just translating exactly what's being said.
An opening statement is just supposed to summarize.
진술은 이제 진술 듣고 싶다는 거예요. 질문보다 one of the things that Mr. Lee has said to me outside when I said, how may I interpret for you to help communicate what you want to communicate? The statement he made to me is that I just don't understand a lot of this, what's happened. And that's why I've contested the case. But the statement, that is a statement. That is why I've contested the case. I'll explain again that this is the time to summarize anything he wishes to say, right?
And
Is that
so far, I
correct?
believe, yes, and so far, I believe the summary is that he believes the door was not locked.
Yeah,
The one individual attempted to come in,
one time.
one time, couldn't come in, eventually came in later, bought water. And the investigator who came in subsequently didn't try the door. Is that,
Didn't try the door and issued a violation that the business had been locked while a customer was inside.
that's what
그
we received
진술이
from the summary.
맞죠. 그리고 진술은 또 요약적으로 하고 싶어요. 잠깐 진술만 질문하니까. 저는 말하는 내 요약적으로 이렇다. 이분이 지금 검사 측에서는 물을 참겨 있었고 손님 안에 있었고 본인은 진술은 반대입니다. 그 말씀만 요약적으로 말씀해 주세요. 지금 I will make my
나는-
statement.
옆에 레스토랑에서
I was in the restaurant next door to my business.
그래서 문을 열고 들어갔어요.
I opened the business door coming back from the restaurant, went inside because it was open.
And when I get in,
After I came inside, 지금 영어로 하고 있어요. He's speaking his own statement in English, sorry. I just realized he's speaking English.
Sorry, he needs to go through the interpreter. So
Oh,
we
would he
confirm
promise
that we
ahead?
understand he knows what he's saying.
Yeah, that's important.
그래서 들어오고
Yeah, 한국말로만 하세요.
손님이 들어왔어요.
He said, when I returned from the restaurant, came inside the restaurant, a guest came behind me and came into the store to a customer.
그래서 아이폰 차저를 물어봐서
Asked me to buy a iPhone charger.
나는 없다고 하고
I said, I don't have iPhone chargers.
나는 그때 아이폰 차저를 한다고. 그래서 그거를 남자가 사고
판매는 하지만은 가지고 있지만은. Oh, excuse me, I want to correct a point. He said, I want to use your iPhone charger. He said, I don't have an iPhone charger. I sell iPhone chargers. So the customer bought an iPhone charger.
그리고 이제 그 손님이 나가고
And after that customer left,
나는 문을 잠그려고 하는
I was going to lock my door for the end of the night.
그 여자가 기다리고 있어서
But there was someone waiting outside. I noticed there was a woman waiting outside my door.
뭐 필요한 거 있어?
So I asked, do you need anything?
그 여자가 문 닫았어?
And the question I received was, have you closed for the evening? Was the question the woman asked me.
I said, I closed, but you can go.
I said, I am closed, but you can come in.
And she bought the water.
한국말로.
그는
Yeah, she bought
water.
한국말로만 할게요.
물 사서
I bought water. He bought water.
나가고
And
이제
left.
I go outside. 나는 밖으로 나가고
And I was going to go outside.
밖에 앉아 있는 사람들한테 술 여기 있으면 안 돼.
I told the people who I saw outside the seating area outside my restaurant, you folks cannot be here with alcohol at the table. I was telling them to leave.
그리고 들어오려는데
And I was coming back in,
리커 커미셔너 같이 들어.
and the inspector, he's using the word liquor commissioner, but it's actually the inspector. Is that correct? Right? What? I'm sorry?
It's investigated.
Oh, the investigator, sorry. Korean and English are different words for this entirely. So, yeah, the investigator came in and issued a violation. And 그리고 문 잠겨 있잖아.
문 잠겨 있잖아.
그 말씀.
문은 잠겨 있진 않아.
And my door was not locked any of that time. That's the statement. It's rather complicated for the interpreting point of view because there's ambiguity. And I'm trying to capture that as well.
Understood. Thank
Because
you.
it's the feeling with the ambiguity. Sorry about that.
Understood. No, thank you. We will move into witnesses for the city. They would call us first witness.
First, we would like to offer up Exhibit A into evidence, which is the investigative report bait stamp P01 through P09.
Yes, and we have admitted that into evidence already. Thank you.
Okay, at this time, we would call licensing investigator Glenn Nishiyata.
Raise it down, I'll swear. Do you swear that the testimony you give at today's hearing will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, you may proceed.
You say your name for the record.
First name is Glenn, G-L-E-N, last name is Nishigata, Nishigata.
And what is your current position?
Liquor control investigator.
And on May 7th, 2022, were you so employed and on duty?
Yes,
And on that date, did you investigate Huang J Corporation?
yes,
And who were you with?
supervising investigator Fontaine, Catherine Fontaine.
And what class of license does Huang J Corporation hold?
It's a retail license
Okay. And what time are they authorized to sell liquor until?
till midnight.
And what time did you arrive that evening?
I believe we arrived at 0026 on April 7th.
Okay, so just after midnight.
Correct.
And when you arrived, did you see any customers inside?
I did not see any customers inside, but we observed approximately 4 patrons sitting outside that the licensee provides tables and chairs for.
Okay, and what else did you see when you arrived?
As we arrived, we observed the licensee go to the door, unlock the door. Patron followed him inside, door closed. Supervisor Fontaine tried to open the door. She couldn't get in.
If I may pause just for a moment, or have you picked up
Yes.
on this?
I am interpreting it, yeah,
Okay.
as it goes, but yeah. Yeah.
I'll go a little, I'll go a little slower.
Oh, okay, well, I need, no, just need a pause to get that, all
Okay.
that content, is that
Okay,
okay?
no problem.
Thank you. Okay, I did take that note or two. 12시 20분은, 이 법사관이, 하고, 캐서린 폰테인 검사관 슈퍼바이저가 같이 오신다고. 밖에서 보니까, 본인은 안에 있다는 것을 하고 보니까 테이블에 앉아 있는 사람이 있고 그리고 열리는 것을 봤다고 잠궈 있는 상태에서 이 선생 잠금 상태에서 열린 상태로 하고 그리고 그때는 그 사람들한테 얘기하고 또 계속 들어와요. That may continue.
Okay. So to clarify, you saw investigator Fontaine attempt to open the door,
Correct. She tried to gain access.
and was she able to?
No, she was.
Why not?
Appeared the door was locked.
And was the customer still inside when Miss Fontaine attempted the door?
Correct. The customer went into the store empty-handed and the door was locked.
Okay. Do you have anything else that the commission should know about that evening?
When the customer exited the store, customer had some merchandise with him. Before the door closed, I pulled out my badge and credentials on a lanyard, entered the store, explained the violation to the licensee.
In your training and experience,
Sorry,
does
just pause for a moment.
Just one moment.
Do you have-
Yeah. But not questions right now. right?
Not questions yet, but you will have that opportunity.
그 기회에 있다가 질문 가지고 있다가 나는 지금은 그분 얘기만 들을 수 있어요. 이따가 질문 있어요 하고 싶습니다. Suggest that you take a note of this question that he has for later. Yeah, he's on note. Yes, continue.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
just one final question? In your training and experience, does this constitute a violation of section 3-84-72.2?
Yes. it is.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
검사 측에서는 이제는 이 창고에다가 손님 들어갔다가 나갈 때 창고 놓고 손님 안에 있으면서 저기 그 주류 규칙을 위반한다는 것을 생각하시니까 검사관께서는 위반한 걸로 생각합니다.
At this time, you may cross-examine the witness and ask the witness question,
이제는
but only the witness.
이제는 증인에게 아무 질문이나 할 수 있어요. 이제는 포스트 엑자미네이션이니까 이제는 갭이 됐으니까 말씀하세요. 질문 거주시고 직접 그 검사하고 하는데.
여자가 들어왔을 때 여자가 문이 안 열린다고 했는데 본인은 문을 열.
Inspector, I've forgotten your first name
Glenn,
or last name.
Nishigata.
Nishigata.
Yeah.
Investigator Nishigata. At the time, you say that Supervisor Catherine Fontaine, did I get that correct? Tried the door and said she was unable to open it. Did you yourself at any time come and try the door to see if it was open or locked?
No, because that was my partner.
Yeah. 안 해봤다고. 왜냐면 내 파트너 그 여성이 같이 검사관이니까 그냥 믿어줘. 그래서 한번 try 안 하셨다. 지금 계속 하세요.
여자가 문을 열고 이렇게 이게 완전히 다 이렇게 제껴야지만 열리는 문인데 다 제껴졌는
다시 한번.
이거 문을 이렇게 여는 건데
Yes, when Supervisor Fontaine tried to enter the door, in what way did she try to open the door? Did she really give it a try, or was it just a little push?
I think that would be a question for her to answer,
Okay,
not me.
대답이 없어요. 모르니까 그냥 믿어줄 수 있다. 참고다. 또
남자가 손님이 이렇게 들어왔는데 내가 문을 안 잠궜기 때문에 이미 들어온 거라고.
Do you not think that the reason a customer was able to come into my shop is because my door was open, not locked?
Objection calls for speculation.
All right.
Oh, now what does that mean?
Answer the
He can
question.
answer the
Answer the
question.
question.
Well, he opened the door. The licensee opened the door, customer followed him in. He unlocked the door,
잠궈 있었다고
I open. 내가
unlocked the
문을
door.
열고
근데 잠궈
들어가서
있었어요?
그래서 비즈니스 문을 닫았으니까
아니, 컨테이너 이거 그 다른 그 차र्ज 사람들이 그 따라서 들어왔잖아요. 그래서 문 잠궈 있었다고 주장하고 있어요.
문은 잠겨 있었죠.
근데 식당 옆에 식당에서 들어왔을 때 다시 들어왔을 때
이때는 왔다가 돌아갔어요. 그리고 다시 번에 다시 왔어요. 첫 번째는 왔다가 돌아가고 문이 잠겨 있어서 돌아가고
근데 열려 있었어요.
잠겨 있었죠. 비즈니스는 문을 닫는 시간이.
그 누구 위해서 열려?
나는 그냥 내가 들어가면
열려서 들어가고
내가-
잠궈 있었다는 거예요.
잠겨 있었어.
근데 그 들어갔다가 손님 따라서 들어왔을 때는 잠겨 있었어요. 그거도.
열려 있었어.
Could you restate what you said so I can now do what you said? I'm sorry.
He was outside the licensed premises. He walked up to the door, unlocked the door, opened the door. Customer followed him in the door. Door closed. Supervisor Fontaine tried to open the door, could not enter.
그래서 지금 주장하는 것은 본인은 잠궈 있는 문이 열렸다고 따라서 손이 들어왔죠. 그리고 그 후에는 컨테인 슈퍼바이저 그 선생님이 와서 트라이 하니까 그 문을 열려고 하니까 잠궈 있었다고 생각했어요. 근데 주장하는 것은 열려 있었다.
그래서 그 비디오는 말해줄 거예요. 남자가 손님이 문을 내가 먼저 가게를 들어가고 나는 외지 들어가고 남자가 들어왔는데 내가 어떻게 문을 잠그냐.
문 닫고도 다시 열렸어요.
문은 닫혔죠.
I want to say that when I went into my
The objection, he's testifying. This is cross-examination. You can only question the witness at this time.
Sustained. You can only ask questions of the witness. You can't-
질문만 할 수 있어요. 그래서 질문하세요. 지금 방금 전에 얘기한 게 sorry about that. 질문만 할 수 있으니까 증인에게 그는 방금 전에 얘기하려고 했던 것을 질문으로 할 수 있어요. 지금 말씀드린 것은 걸려서 손님 같이 들어왔다. 한 거다가
내가 손님하고 같이 들어가는 거를 봤어요.
Did you see the guest come in the same motion with him into his business?
After he opened the door, unlocked and opened the door, he entered, licensee entered, customer followed.
그리고 내가 문을 잠그는 걸 보니
Did you see me lock the door?
I've seen the door close.
Did you see the door locked? That's what the question is.
I didn't see the door locked.
That's all that I want to ask.
City, would you like to hear about?
Would you have written in your report that the door was locked if you guys were able to enter?
No.
No further questions.
그들이 지금 하는 것은 만약에 문 열 수 있으면 그 여성이 리포트에서 그렇게 진술했는지 했었더냐고 사실대로 문 잠겨 있다고 손님 안에 있다고 그런 진술을 했을까 아니 그 사실이니까 그랬습니다. So 이제 I translated that.
Okay, city, have you rested?
Yes, we rest.
You may present, your case.
이제는
I'm sorry, the witness is dismissed.
Thank you.
이제는
Will he be making a statement?
Yes, that's
So
what
I'm
I'm
gonna need to, I'd like to swear, I guess I'm gonna swear both of you in.
Okay, 이제는 statement 하니까 맹세하실 때요.
Do you swear? The testimony you give at today's hearing will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
제가 질문을 하는 것을 사실대로만 진리만 하겠다고 맹세하시겠습니까? Yes, I do, and I do too.
Okay, thank you.
Proceed, 이제 제시하고 싶은 이제는
비즈니스 시간은 끝나서 문은 잠겨 있었고 내가 들어가서 손님이 들어오고 나서는 문을 잠근 적이 없다.
Okay, I had locked my door to go out, and when I came back, I unlocked my door and came in. But at no time did I lock the door again when the guest came in with behind me, the next person.
그래서 아침에는 문을 안 열어서 사람들이 많이 열려고 시도를 많이 해서
Because I'm a business that only operates in the evenings, a lot of people during the daytime come and try the door a lot to come inside. And
너무 루즈돼 있어서
the door had mechanical issues at that time.
그래서
It could be difficult to open.
핸들 없는 걸로
So I actually, after this happened, I changed the locks on my door because it was hard for customers sometimes if the doors were closed to open the door to come in the business during regular hours. When the door was unlocked, the handle just didn't work.
그리고 그 사람만이 아니라 모든 사람들이 뽑히면서 들어오려고 하는데 못 들어와서 기다리는 손님들이 많았다.
Yeah, I had a lot of instances too during business hours where customers tried to open the door and were just waiting outside because they couldn't get the door to open. And so I decided that after this happened, I have to change my door locks
문을
or door handles.
원래는 열고 있었는데 누가 들어와서 문을 훔쳐서 달아나는 바람에 문을 닫고
그냥 열려놓고.
예, 원래는 열어서
닫는 상태 아니라. But originally, I used to just keep my door propped open during business hours. However, I had a theft. I was robbed.
그래서 그게 문을 닫고
So I started just letting the door be closed, but unlocked, of course, but hard to open after it was tried so many times during my non-open hours. The door was in need of repair.
그냥 문을 닫고 핸드가 없는 걸로 바꾸고 그냥 문을 닫아.
So now I've changed it. It's still a combination lock that you press in a code, but there's no handle on my door. It's just a push in or pull shut. Before I replace the handle. I'm just trying to tell the story of why the door was difficult to open at that night. That's all I have to say is that the door was not locked.
So that's your statement. Okay. We're treating this as essentially as a witness sitting. So if you have cross-examination, you may answer or ask your question.
이제는 묻겠어요.
You recall investigator Nishigata explaining to you that the door could not be locked while customers were inside.
손님 안에 있을 때 검사관 니시가타 설명하는 기억이 있어요. 이렇게 잠궈놓은 상태에서는 안 된다고 영업한. Yes, I recall.
And at that time, did you explain to him that the door was just broken and not locked?
그때 검사관에게
나는 근데
설명했어요.
이렇게 말했어. 도어는 닫혀 있지. 문은 내가 잠그진 않아.
Oh, yes, I told him, I said, no, the door was closed, not locked.
And you're sure about that?
확실히 말씀하셨어요.
So if I were to play the video recording of your conversation with Mr. Nishigata, would it show that?
비디오 지금 보여주면 door was 문을 닫혀 있었다고 잠궈 있지 않다는 말이 나오겠습니까? 비디오 보여주면. Do you mean the video you're presenting?
I'm just asking in general, if I were to show a video of your interaction with Mr.
비디오
Nishigata.
만약에 보여주면 그런
내가
대화 있어요?
내가 제출한 거에 보면 보이스가 다 닫혀 있어.
그때 말씀하는 거예요. If you look at the video I presented, you will hear my voice saying this in the video. No,
나 말.
oh,
내가 무슨 말을 했는지 모르겠는데.
oh, no, not my voice. I don't know what I'm saying, but in the video.
이게 다 말해줄 거라고 그 보이스가 무슨 과정이 있었는지.
But my voice will explain what's happening if it's heard. My voice. 그렇죠? 말씀하는 것은
비디오를 보고 지금 내가 문이 잠겨 마찬가지로 영어를 내가 다 이렇게 트랜슬레이트 하는 것들을 다 받아들여야지만 내가 말을 하니까 내가 그 상황에서 내가 무슨 말을 어떻게 대답했는지 확실하게는
I have no absolute certainty that of the actual words I said, because always when I am speaking with someone in English, I am translating in my head and speaking out in English. Therefore, I don't have an actual memory of every word spoken at that time. That I don't know, but what I do know is that I conveyed that my door was not locked, it was closed.
그리고 내가 하는데도 내가 이해가 돼?
And even when I am not selling alcohol.
Sorry, objection. This is not responsive to my question. He's testifying at this point.
No, it doesn't matter how.
You can only answer direct.
예, 질문하실 때는 그 질문만 대답할 수 있어요. 또 하고 싶은 거 할 수 없어요. 본인 증언 내는 거죠. So, okay, I understand.
Okay, thank you.
Do you recall asking investigator Nishigata, quote, even though I did not sell alcohol, it's still a violation, end quote. And if you want to read from it, it's right there above the highlight.
Thank you. 이런 말을 기억하세요? Yes, I do.
So why would you have asked him that if your door wasn't locked?
문 잠궈 있진 않았으면 왜 그러십니까? Oh, I just wanted to know because I don't understand the law.
이게
No further questions.
비즈니스를 나는 아침까지 컨티뉴해서 하고 싶으니까 만약에 내가 술을 안 파는 가정에서 도어가 항상
I really
Objection is non-responsive.
did part of the answer, but that's okay. I mean, that's what he's saying. He's just answering the question. I'm just responding what he just said to me. I want to finish my answer.
What was your question again, Council?
My question was just simply why would he have asked that question if his door was not locked at the time? And he testified that he didn't know the law, so he had to ask the question, and then I stated no further questions.
And the reason can then, I don't know. Is it okay that the answer gets
We'll
translated?
let you answer, but be very direct on that question.
I asked the question because I wanted clarity on when my door has to be locked and when it has to be open during my business hours, whether it's selling alcohol or anything else.
And you now rested. No further questions.
No further questions.
With that, then we'll move into closing arguments. City, you may present your final closing argument. Oh, I'm sorry. Before we do that, commissioners' questions.
Yes, so I guess I have a question. Can we ask the witness, but kind of about his opening statement, or you cannot? It just has to be what he stated now.
No, we have the ability to ask any questions.
Okay, can I ask questions now then, or do we
Yes,
wait till
yes,
the
yes,
later?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, so I have a couple questions. So during your opening statement, he had stated that he went to a restaurant to get some food.
식당에 옆에 가서 음식 가져갔죠.
옆에 식당에서 프린트가 안 된다고 해서 프린터 머신이 안 된다고 해서 좀 봐달라고 했고.
Oh, actually, the person at the next restaurant's printer had stopped working and I was asked to come over and work on the printer.
Okay, so he went to the restaurant to work on the printer. What time was that?
그때 몇 시쯤?
12시에 문 닫고
At 12, I closed and went to. help.
Okay, so at 12, okay. So when you came back, right, you said you came back from the restaurant and you opened your door and a woman followed you or was at your door, right?
No, 여자 아니었어요.
Okay,
남자
It was a man.
okay, so someone was there
그때
at your door.
customer가 문 앞에
문 앞에 있어.
Yeah, there was a person at the door when I came back from the restaurant.
Okay. Did they, if in your statement, you had, or in your opening statement, you said that person asked him if he was open?
No.
No,
Okay,
Do you have an iPhone charger?
do you have iPhone
okay, the
charger?
iPhone charger, okay. Then. Did the iPhone charger, did you sell an iPhone charger to the person?
Could
I
not-
saw the iPhone.
Yes,
Okay, so you sold an iPhone charger. Then I believe in your beginning statement, you also stated that someone else asked you if you were open, could they come in?
그때는
그러고 남자가 나가고 나서
when the customer who bought the charger was leaving,
내가 문을 잠그려고
I was
할 때
going to relock my door because business is over.
Okay,
여자가
There, I saw a woman standing outside.
okay.
말한 게 Are you guys closed?
And the question to me was, are you guys closed?
그래서 내가 말한 게
And I said,
I'm closed, but go ahead.
So you had told her you were closed, but go ahead, so
Come
she could
inside.
come inside. At that time that she was inside, you stated she bought water, I believe,
물을 사셨죠?
okay? Do you remember about what time that the person bought water?
12시 35분.
Maybe about 12:35.
Okay. Last question I have is, for you, your license, you're able to be open or selling, I believe updated till 12 midnight. Is that correct?
술은 Oh, alcohol I can sell until midnight.
Okay, midnight alcohol, but what time is your regular store hours?
근데 보통
6시부터 12시.
my regular store hours are from 6 p.m. to 12 midnight.
So that's all the questions that I have. Any further questions?
So, Mr. Knopfinger, at what time did Supervisor Fontaine check the door?
Would have been at 12:26 a.m. or shortly thereafter.
I have no other questions.
No further questions.
Commission has no further questions, so we'll move into closing arguments. City, you may proceed.
Investigators Fontaine and Nishigata observed a customer walk into the licensed premises and attempted to follow shortly behind them, only to be met with a locked door. Due to the length of the video, I didn't want to play it during evidence presentation. However, I will direct the commission to licensee's video ending in 9643. Between 3 minutes and 28 seconds and 3 minutes and 48 seconds, you will hear the conversation between investigator Nishigata and the licensee. You will hear that investigator Nishigata explained that the door could not be locked and asked him if he understood. He expressed his understanding and expressed that he unlocked the door to let in a customer. If you move forward in the same video to 9 minutes and 26 seconds, you will hear the conversation where Mr. Lee asked, quote, even though I did not sell alcohol, it's still a violation, end quote. Well, 3-84-72.2 provides that street or primary entrances to the licensed premises shall be kept unlocked during all times that any person other than an on-duty employee is on the premises. We submit that the evidence is clear that the door was locked because investigator Fontaine was unable to open the door. Thank you.
내가 이야기를 했다고.
No.
Excuse me, I just want to make sure, clarify that you're still translating the.
I am. This is hard to explain.
Okay.
I think there's yeah, I'm just repeating it in 2 or 3 different forms. Chicum, 말씀하셨던 것은 그 여성 슈퍼바이저 본태는 열려고 했을 때는 chan고 있다는 것을 보고 그리고 나중에는 검사관이 들어오셔서 설명했어요. 왜 이거 위반한 것인지 그리고 이서 인정했다고 그래요.
나는 이게 도어가 오픈돼 있어야 되는 줄 알았어요.
I understood that the
I'm sorry, it's just to interpret him, then you'll have your closing statement,
Okay.
but just to interpret his
that's a
closing.
very important thing I've got to remember for him in the language going back and forth. One can lose something in the cracks.
So have you translated the closing
Yes.
argument? Okay, so you may present your closing.
이제는 말씀하세요.
나는 이 문을 그렇게 말하는 거는 내가 들어가서 문을 이제 열고 들어가고 손님이 들어왔고 나는 캐시 레지스트로 가서 답변을 한번 잘저를 받았고 나가서 문을 잠그려고 할 때 여자가 밖에 서 있어서 여자가 들어왔고 문을 다시 문을 잠그기 전에 밖에 있는 애들이 술을 보여서 내가 나가서 술 치우라고 했고 그리고 들어올 때 문을 열고 청소하려고 이제 문을 열고 그때는 이제 내가 이거를 홀딩을 시켜야지 청소하려고 문을 열어놓고 네. 그 검사관이 들어오고
그리고 써는 오케이.
그래서 나는 이게 말하는 게 이렇게 문이 열려 있지 않고 이게 클로즈돼 있다는 게 나는 락이랑 클로즈가
이해 못했어요. Okay. I, as has been stated, I unlocked the door of my business, went inside. Again, another customer came in and as we all heard, and purchased what they purchased. And as they were leaving, I was going to lock the door, but then the other guests came in, purchased the water and left. At that time, I saw some people at my tables and I told them they have to get moved. We can't be there with alcohol. And then I did, my memory is I propped the door open to start cleaning my business. And that is when the inspector or the investigator came and told me that I had a violation. I was confused about language, meaning the English word that your doors must be open. I confused with meaning propped open, not merely closed. And I really did confuse because of the English in our conversation. So that is why I accepted the explanation that I had my doors locked, not open, because I thought it meant open, not simply unlocked. And that was confusion of language on my part.
Okay, thank you. City, any final argument or rebuttal?
No, nothing further.
Commissioners, any final questions or comments?
No.
Okay, then the commission will go into deliberation this time. Thank you.
Yeah, that's kind of easier. I think.
By spontaneous, can you ask questions or too late? All right.
Okay, we are back on the record, Commissioner.
So my motion for agenda item number 31 will be to find the charges sustained.
Second,
There are motion and seconds, any objections, reservations, hearing and seeing none, I also vote aye, the motion carries, the allegations are sustained. That's okay, so.
Explain sustained to me in this case. Another word.
Means
The
that
charges are upheld.
Que siguen chillando a la razón como sa chilleza.
Similar to guilty versus innocent.
Yeah, that's where I was having trouble in my
There you
head.
go.
I didn't want to use those exact words.
It's not a criminal court, but it's similar.
Yeah. I'm giving this. Okay.
Mr. Knapsinger, what is your recommendations?
This is a first violation. The recommended fine, $500.
Already, okay to make a motion now?
Yeah.
My motion will be to issue a letter of reprimand for agenda item number 31.
second,
There are motion and a second, any objections, reservations, hearing and seeing none, I also vote aye, the motion carries, the letter of reprimand will be issued for agenda item number. Okay. Okay, calling agenda item number 32, LCV 22-0084, Guangji Corporation. Can you state your names for the record?
Oh, yeah. You don't need to ask it. Anjali, HWANTAELAE. Charles Hill, CHARLES HILL, Korean interpreter.
Also, it's a case hearing, order till 7, interpreter, are you still okay as time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Losing my voice, but I can still think right now.
City, are you prepared to?
We are prepared.
And are you prepared to continue on this matter?
Yeah. Yes, I am prepared to continue.
Okay. Thank you. So again, we're gonna go through some procedural matters first. As to evidence, well, we'll start with witnesses. That's the witnesses. City, do you have any witnesses?
Yes,
And were those witnesses disclosed timely?
Yes.
Okay, how many witnesses do you have?
one.
One, okay. And do you have any witnesses? Just yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, same as
Before myself.
So witness list is accepted. City, do you have any evidence?
Yes, we would like to admit into evidence exhibit A, which is the investigative report documents bait stamped P01 through P050.
Does the licensee have any objection to this evidence? Okay, so prosecution's exhibit A is admitted into evidence. Licensee, do you have any evidence to submit this matter? Okay, we will move into opening statements then. City, you may proceed with your opening statement.
Licensee violated Rule 3-82-38.20, subsection A on June 5th, 2022 by selling a bottle of Crown Royal liquor after hours at approximately 12:51 a.m.
Did you say 11:51?
12:51 AM, 51 minutes after midnight.
You may provide your opening statement.
Okay. I sold that Crown Royal at 11:30. The person who purchased the Crown Royal came back, the noun was, they came back. And I gave them a brown bag for the liquor. I did provide that service of a brown bag for the liquor. I sold the liquor at 11:30. I know that I cannot sell alcohol after midnight. And now I realize that I can't do any kind of service related to alcohol, providing the brown bag, I assume, is what service means in this charge. Anything? And that's all I have to say.
We'll move into witnesses then. The city, you may call your first witness.
We would like to call investigator Jacob Fears.
Where are you in? Do you swear that the testimony you give at today's hearing will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
So before you proceed, Mr. Nessinger, just to summarize, we'll have a witness similar to what we did before. The city will ask his questions to the witness. You may have opportunity to cross-examine the witness, which is to say you can only ask questions to the witness.
One judge. I understand.
Okay, thank you. City may proceed.
Please say your name for the record.
Jacob Fears.
And what is your current occupation?
I'm a liquor control investigator.
And on June 5th, 2022, were you so employed and on duty?
Yes,
And on that date, did you perform an inspection of Huang J Corporation?
yes.
And who were you with?
I was with investigator Reyes.
What class of license does Huang J Corporation hold?
A retail license
And what time does that allow them to sell liquor
until 12 a.m.
What time did you arrive that night?
approximately 12:50 a.m.
And what did you see when you arrived?
We were actually in the area to conduct an inspection of a nearby premise when I saw three individuals through the windows inside Wang Jai retail store.
Okay, and what did you see next?
Then saw the three males exit the store, and one of them was carrying a brown paper bag with a top partially sticking out.
Sorry, we can pause there. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing it as we go so far. Can I have one moment?
Yeah.
So, 다른 옆에 있는 비즈니스에서 검사하다가 보니까 문 안으로 보니까 세 사람이 있었다고. 그리고 또 한 사람은 봉지에 위스키에 있었다. 예. 그리고 그래서 okay.
Okay, thank you. Continue.
Did you speak with that customer?
Yes, I did.
And what did he tell you?
I approached the customer and asked him if the liquor store was still open and selling alcohol, to which he stated they were. They just had to put it in a bag.
Okay.
And what did he mean when he said they just had to put it in a bag?
The alcohol after it was purchased went into a brown paper bag.
Just a moment. And so 그래서 그 스님한테 집안에 수입하면 제가 생각했던 것은 그 봉지안은 그래서 봉지안을 먹고 판매.
And Mr. Hall, feel free to interrupt if you do need time to
Okay,
catch up.
just don't want to lose a line or a word. Thank you.
Was the customer aware that he made a purchase after hours?
Yes, when I talked to the customer, he had told me that he had just purchased a bottle of Crown Apple
And what time?
at approximately 12:51 AM.
And what happened next?
I then identified myself to the male customer and asked him to surrender the alcohol because it was sold after midnight by the retail
Just a
store.
moment, just this. 손님한테 금방 그 술을 샀다고 그러시고 싶은데 그래서 그때는 우리 금지적 공사관리가 술을 달라봤어요. 그리고 나와 있었어요. 손님 산 술을 달라봤어요.
How do you know that the liquor was purchased after midnight?
I saw the male exit the store at 12:51 AM with the brown package, and when I questioned him about it, he had stated that he had just purchased the liquor.
And did you verify that by checking a receipt?
Just a moment. 손님이 나가시면서 어떻게 술을 시간에 사셨는지 아시죠? 그러면 봤어요. 그 손님한테 술은 그 안에서 사셨는지 그 손님 금방 사셨다고 알고 있었다고 확실히 12시면서 사셨을 거라고 생각합니다.
Did you verify that it was purchased after midnight by checking the receipt?
Yes.
확인했는지는 영수증을 확인했는지 그 시간에 이제 사셨는지 그 영수증을 제가 확인했습니다. 예, 맞습니다. 확인했습니다. 영수증.
Is this document, which is bait stamped P010, an accurate copy of the receipt you checked that night?
Yes,
And what time does that say the purchase was made?
12:51:37 AM.
지금 여기 있습니다. 확실히 12시 넘어서 확인했다고 합니다. 영수증 증거서 이거를
Your training and experience, did this licensee violate Rule 3-82-38.20 by selling liquor after hours at 12:51 AM?
Yes,
No further questions.
위반했다는 것을 생각했습니다. 예, 위반했습니다.
Are you caught up? Okay, great. You now have the opportunity to cross-examine and ask questions of the witness. You don't have to if you don't have any, but you have that option.
나한테 들어와서, yeah, I do want to question. cross-examine.
나한테 왜 카드를 주면서 이 사람들 영수증을 만들어야 된다고 왜 나한테 카드 준 적이 있는지 없는지.
Do you know of a time in which the customer came into my store and said, I don't have a receipt for what I bought earlier. I need to have a receipt made again. Do you have any knowledge of that happening?
I never spoke with the customer regarding the receipt.
이 영수증에 대해서는 그 손님하고는 얘기한 적이 없어요. 네.
내가 술을 나한테 들어와서, 그러니까 저 사람이 건축관이 나한테 들어와서 영수증이 없으니까 영수증을 만들려고 영수증을 달라고 나한테 카드를 준 적이 없어.
Did an inspector come inside the store and present a card and ask for a receipt to be made for this Crown Royal whiskey?
My reply is going to be a little long, so just let me know if you need me to stop. So upon me stopping the customer and asking him for the liquor which he purchased. I advised him that I would need it as evidence in my case, and I could let the store clerk know that I confiscated the liquor, and he could ask the store clerk for a refund of the purchase because I would be taking the liquor.
Just a moment.
Yep.
That's a lot. 그래서 검사관은 손님한테 술을 가져야 됩니다. 그러니까 그렇죠. 가져야 되니까 그 영수증도 필요하다. 그래서 자기는 그거 갖고 있을 수 있고 아니면 안에 가서 준비한테 영수증 만들어 달라고 할 수 있다는 것이고요. I translate correctly that you said, just one clarification, that you said you could go inside and ask for a receipt of the purchase?
No,
Oh, okay.
I advised the customer that I would let the store clerk know that I confiscated the liquor and they could ask the store clerk for a refund, being that they no longer had the liquor.
But not the receipt.
No,
Again, I'm not trying to question, I'm just not understanding the flow, okay? 그 손님이 그 술을 잃어버렸잖아요. 그래서 그 refund 할 수 있다는 것은 내가 틀리게 통일했어야 한다. 그래서 그 영수증에 대한 얘기 없었다고요. 근데 가서 그 검사관이 술을 가졌다고 그거 아까는 그 수준이나 리펀드로 돈 달라고 할 수 있다고 했어요. 그 얘기. 질문도 있어요? I that no further questions.
well, I'm not done with.
Oh,
my
that's
answer.
right. I'm sorry, it is getting late. 저기 그건 대답 안 해. 지금 계속. Okay.
So after I entered the retail store with the customer and explained to Mr. Lee,
그래서 그때 같이 손님하고 들어왔죠. 같이 들어와서 설명했어요. AP 영수증 필요한지.
explained to Mr. Lee that I confiscated the liquor from the customer.
술을 가졌다고 그러셨죠? 그 손님 술을 이해하셔서 나한테 예, 술을 그런 거요. 검사관이 가졌다는 것을 알고 있었죠. 그 손님 사진. Yes.
Then Mr. Lee issued a refund to the customer. That was
그래서
between Mr.
돈을
Lee and the
돌려줬죠.
customer.
저기 그 손님한테.
그 리펀드 해야 된다고. 리펀드.
Yes, yeah.
So after the refund was issued, a receipt had printed and Mr. Lee had given it to the customer. I then asked the customer if I could have a copy of the receipt.
그래서 영수증은 돌려주신 다시 프린트했잖아요. 이제 돈을 돌려주면서 그때는 그 영수증은 손님 받았던 것은 검사관께서는 그 손님한테서 그 영수증을 달라고 했어요.
That's my answer.
그래서 나이 대답. 그럼요, 내가 근데 손님 달라고 했어요. 그 영수증. 질문도 있어요?
손님한테 카드를 나한테 카드를 줘서 나는 영수증을
영수증이 아니고 환합이죠.
refund.
예. 하셨어요?
refund 리시트 필요하니까 나는
그래서 질문하셔야 돼. 질문도 있어. I don't have any further questions.
Okay,
Just some confusion.
no problem. Thank you. City, any rebuttal?
Just one follow-up question, more of a clarification. When the customer you saw leaving at approximately 12:52 a.m., did he tell you that he had just purchased the alcohol?
Yes, he did.
No further questions.
손님 나오면서 그 검사관이 물어봤을 때는 그 술을 지금 방금 전에 산 것이냐고 그 손님이 예 방금 전에 샀다고. 그래서 이해지. Yes.
The commission can now ask questions of the witness, and I have a couple myself, Mr. Pierce. After you asked the customer if they had just recently purchased that alcohol, I believe I heard you say that you checked a receipt at that point. Is that correct?
No, there was no receipt until the refund was issued.
Okay, so the only receipt which is in evidence is the refund, not the initial purchase.
Yes,
Did you ask for a receipt?
no. At the time I stopped the customer, I did not ask for a receipt.
refund. 그래서 나한테 리시트 필요하다고 해서 나도 카드를 받아. 안 들고 refund transaction. Yeah, okay, understood, but he was explaining something he wants to say at some point.
Okay, he'll have his chance.
그때
조금 기다리세요. Is there any reason why you didn't at that time? Is the protocol to ask for a receipt, or do you ask just simple questions? What's the protocol?
The alcohol was in a bag and I only could see the top sticking out and I saw the Crown Royal symbol. I didn't want to impede on the gentleman's property by going into the bag or asking him for a receipt, and I didn't ask him for a receipt. I asked him if he had just purchased alcohol. He stated, yes, I felt that was sufficient enough to enter the store and talk to the store clerk.
Mr. Fear, sorry.
Okay,
Go ahead.
Oh, Mr. Fear. But then you confiscated the bottle and the bag,
Yes, I took the bag with the bottle in it.
but it didn't have a receipt.
No,
Mr. Fierce, is it part of the commission, is it part of your guys, when you guys confiscate liquor that's sold after hours to allow the person you're confiscating it from to get a refund?
well, that's why I said I have no say in that. That's between the licensee and the customer. I explained to the customer that I would let the licensee know that I did confiscate the alcohol as evidence and that the customer was asking for a refund. But that was between the license. The only thing I confirmed was that I confiscated the liquor from the customer.
Okay.
Let's allow this. We're just allowing you time. Yeah, go ahead.
아니 지금 대답 질문 I need to hear it one more time. The answer.
Sure.
The question was, because it just went hazy.
So
in
my
brain.
question was, is it normal for you folks to go ahead and, when you confiscate liquor, go to the store and ask them for a refund for that product?
And just let me translate the question first. That was the problem. 보통 일을 할 때는 그 검사관들 리펀드에 대한 손님한테 술을 가지면서 굴복하는 것이니까 하는 것이니까 보통은 습관대로 그냥 들어가서 리펀드 받을 수 있다고 도와줄 수 있다고 습관이 있느냐고 보통 저는 그런 질문을 왜 그런 식으로 자주 하느냐고 봤어요. Okay.
The refund is between the customer and the licensee.
리펀드는 면허 가진 사람, 면허 그 사이에 이루어지는 일이에요. 그래서 제가 옆에서는 그냥 얘기해 준 것뿐이에요. 설명만 했다고.
We informed the licensee that we did confiscate the customer's
술을
liquor.
우리는 위반한 것이니까 하는 것은 위반한 것이니까 가졌다는 것을만 알려주는 뿐이에요. 근데 근데 관계 없어요. 주거나 안 주거나 리펀드는 하는 사람하고 사는 사람 사이에 이루어지는 일이다.
I have just one final question. Do you know if there was a receipt for the initial purchase?
When the customer gave me the bag and I opened it up, took the Crown Royal out, after I confiscated it as evidence, secreted as evidence, there was nothing else in the bag except for the bottle of Crown Royal.
So you don't know if there was a receipt or not?
No, I do not.
No, I have no other questions.
The witness is then dismissed. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
City, do you rest?
Yes, we rest. No further evidence.
So this time we'll allow you to present your statement. It's likely to be four since you are your own witness. Ms. Harai will swear you in as a witness and then you can provide your testimony.
We're gonna do this again.
Yeah,
You swear that the testimony you give today is here will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
진실대로 사실대로 주님만 말씀하시는 대로 맹세하십니다.
Thank you.
You may proceed.
I do too.
You may proceed.
이제 말씀하시고 싶은 진실.
남자 3명이 들어왔고,
Three customers, men, came in about 11:30.
그리고 술을
They bought liquor.
펩시, 크라운 애플,
Yeah, they bought drinks, Pepsi, Crown Royal, Apple. Few other things.
그래서 제가 더 큰 거 필요하지 않냐고.
I said, well, you guys need a bigger size? I thought I might sell them a larger size.
근데 괜찮다고.
No, they said this isn't that, this size isn't that.
네, 나중에 다시 와서 나한테
And so then they came later back to the store
더 큰 사이즈로 바꿔주면 안 되냐고.
and they said, we'd like to buy the larger size if you, and switch it out. We want to get the larger one.
근데 내가 아는 방식으로는
I said, my common knowledge is that I cannot sell alcohol after midnight. So therefore I also cannot exchange alcohol and make a sale after midnight.
네, 이 봉지에까지 담아주는 것까지.
But I will do what I think I can do is give you a bag for your purchase,
그래서
earlier purchase.
서비스를 했다고.
I did that service for my customers who had purchased their Crown Royal Apple at 11:30ish. And then when they came back later, wanting to exchange for the larger size, I did the service of saying, no, I can't sell or exchange after midnight, but here is a brown paper bag for your purchase, earlier purchase. And that's it. That's my story.
No cross.
No comments. Okay, thank you, Commissioner. No question.
Mr. Lee,
Ethan Green.
I noticed that this is a receipt from what is it? From Clover.com with a transaction ID.
Transaction.
Can you go to the Clover system and provide us with the sales transactions?
Transaction origin.
That will have a timestamp.
Could then timestamp this? Yes, I can.
Can you do it now?
지금 할 수 있어요.
CPA가 그거를 가지고 있고, 네, 클로버를 CPA가.
I will have to contact my CPA. 그랬죠? 그 사람이.
폰 넘버가 verification 하고 폰 넘버가 CPA예요.
My CPA has the verification phone number for my Clover data with my business. Can you do it? Can 지금 할 수 있어요?
아니,
Jack to any admission of that evidence. It was not disclosed to us prior to today's hearing. We have not had a chance to look at it or authenticate it in any way.
There's nothing so far requested, but noted. I would ask it a different way. If you believe that the alcohol was purchased at 11:30
시간에 판매했다고 믿고 있으면
and you were able to provide a receipt from Clover to prove that,
만약에 Clover
보내줬는데.
Clover한테서 그 original 보내셨어요. 11시 반에 보냈어요. I sent that.
you said you had no evidence today.
No, he said I sent that receipt. I'm just hearing this for the first time too. So 저기 근거 없다고 그랬잖아요. Clover 데이터 보냈어요? 그 timestamp하고 보내셨어요? 그 하셔야 했고 계시고. You would need.
Technically, you have to have the number. Which would,
Oh,
you know, the
here it
original
is. Do you want to submit this? No.
I'm gonna object to it.
Yeah,
Oh.
you didn't submit anything into evidence. You didn't
Check your-
provide it to the Google Drive.
And stated earlier that he had no evidence for this case.
I didn't know as interpreter, I'm hearing about, but he said he did present, send this information.
Regardless, he said at the beginning of this case, he had no evidence to present for it, so we would object to the admission of any evidence.
When and how did you submit?
Oh, you know what? His understanding was not just evidence, but video evidence to submit, not evidence of any other kind. That's his understanding.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, at this time, evidence was not submitted. That's
Yeah.
why, you know, counsel and
이게
authorized
근거이거든요.
agents are helpful.
그래서 아까 근거 있는
물어보기로
그때는 earlier during the break, the question was asked, do you want to use your videos in part 2 as evidence? And the answer was no, because he thought that meant only video evidence. And I got to use first person, sorry. I thought that meant only video evidence. I didn't know that meant that I needed to state that I have other evidence to present.
Okay, well, we did provide
And I think I
procedural
translated, I used the
rules.
word evidence.
Yeah, we did provide procedural rules ahead of the contested case hearing that described how you would provide evidence and what that would show.
저기 그 evidence 근거 편지 받으세요. 그래서 어떻게 7 days before you received and then upload it. And when it yeah, well, the thought is that it was submitted. That's what's.
Okay, understood. Commissioner Holder.
I maybe have a better way of asking. It's a very similar question, but so
유사한 질문인데 한번
what is Hangwanji's refund process?
refund 하실 때는 어떤 과정으로 합니까?
No refund.
Usually no refund.
Okay, so if you're going, I guess my question would be then, if you're going to refund someone with a debit card, right?
Yeah.
How do you find that person's transaction to be able to refund it?
한다고 하면 어떻게 해서 영수증을 그 기록, 그 타임, 시간 어떻게 찾을 수 있어요?
그래서 그때 시간이 많이 걸렸어요. 리펀 어떻게 하는지 몰라서.
그래서 그 질문 아니고 어떻게 그 과정은 무슨 과정?
플로버 POS. POS.
I use the Clover POS to do my refunds.
Okay, so do you look for, when you do the refund on the Clover POS, do you look for that person's debit card or credit card number?
어떻게 번호로 찾으세요? 어떻게 하세요? 그 신용카드로 데비트 카드로 하세요?
그거는 잘 안 해봐서 잘 모르겠어요.
I do not do refunds very often, so I don't even know exactly how I do that.
Okay. Because I guess a normal process, right, for a refund,
보통은 과정은
you'd have to find the transaction number,
번호를 찾아야 되고,
which would then give you the credit card number,
그리고 그 신용카드 번호 나오고,
which then would allow you to reverse that charge.
그거는 뒤로 돈을 돌려줄 수 있고 하나.
And then normally, when you get a refund receipt,
그리고 영수증에 나올 때는
the top part of the receipt shows the first purchase,
첫 번째
and the bottom part shows the refund
아래는
purchase.
그 리펀드 그 주는 시간, 토탈 시간에 써져 있다고 그런 과정이 있거든요.
I'm asking that because Mr. Nabzinger, can you pull up on your exhibits? Bait snap P0010 exhibit B. The receipt. Reason I'm asking that is if you look at his exhibit B, the receipt, you have your receipt, transaction 00077. Crown Royal 26.99, refunded 26.99. But the top part shows a time bait stamp of 12:51:37 AM. And then a refund bait stamp time of 12:54:59. Normally that top portion, when you look at that receipt, is when the original sale took place. That's what I'm asking. I don't know if that's a better way to explain it.
보통은 그렇게 돼 있다고 그렇게 이해하고 있습니다.
나한테 카드를 줘서 위시를 만들어야 된다고 해서 나는 프로세싱 위시를 만들고 그리고 다시 리펀을 하는데 시간이 걸려서 리펀하는데 시간이 있어서 나한테는 위시지 없습니다.
Because I had no receipt, I asked for the credit card again. I did a transaction and then I refunded a transaction because there was no original receipt. So I actually did as a transaction and a refund because I had no original receipt and because it is a process that takes so long and I don't know how to do it.
All right. Which would then mean the guy didn't get his refund for his alcohol anyway, but okay. Last question I have. What time do you close every night? What is your hours of operation?
영업 시간 말씀해 주세요. 매일.
지금은 6시부터 12시까지.
6 to 12.
6 to 12.
그때 당시에는
But that night,
6 to
6 to 2.
And so why was it 6 to 2 and it was normally 6 to 12?
왜 그렇게 늦게 하셨어요? 왜 그런 늦은 시간까지 영업했어요?
시간들이 와서 자꾸 음식을 찾아서
Because a lot of drunk people wanted to come buy food.
Yeah, that's all the questions I have.
Okay, thank you for your testimony. We will then move into closing arguments. City may continue their testimony.
Licensee violated Rule 3-82-38.20 subsection A when he sold a bottle of liquor at 12:51 AM, almost 1 hour beyond the authorized hours for sale. The receipt combined with LCI Fear's testimony clearly shows that the licensee sold liquor after hours. The customer told LCI Fears that he had just purchased it.
And could you pause just to catch
예,
it?
손님이 또 주의 내가 예, 그래서 주의방하는 그리고 제가 정확히
Thank you. You can continue.
The customer told LCI Fears that he had just earlier purchased it. It is unreasonable to think that a customer would wait around for an hour and a half just to get a paper bag after making a purchase. Additionally, the customer would not have said that the store had to put it in a bag to conduct after-hour sales if the sale was made during authorized hours. As far as the refund goes, if he had to do a second transaction before issuing the refund, it was not a refund. The evidence is clear that this bottle of liquor was sold after hours at 12:51 AM, and this charge must be sustained. Thank you.
You may provide your closing statement.
이제 마지막으로 마무리 말씀해 주십시오.
내가 브라운백에 넣는 거 또 안 되는 건지 되는 건지 영어를 다
침수해야 돼요. 질문 침수하세요. I was going to ask a question, but I realized this is not a questioning time. This is a statement.
Correct.
예, 진술만.
11시 30분에 들어와서 물을 사갖고
I had a customer come in at 11:30 and buy the liquor.
그리고 리커 커미셔너가 들어와서 영수증이 필요하다고 해서 크레딧 카드로
And the inspector came in, 손님
손님이
The guest, I was just clarifying, the guest came back in
and change the liquor.
and wanted to exchange the liquor, and I said, I cannot do that. But I did put it in a brown bag for it, for that customer, and they left.
하고 한 바로 다시
Pretty soon after,
서비스 해주면 안 된다고 해서 영수증이 필요하다고 해서 크레딧 카드를 주면서 영수증을 만들어서
and I was told that I shouldn't be doing business with alcohol at this time, and I need a receipt. And so I made a new receipt by doing the transaction process and gave it to, gave the refund receipt then. At that time. But the liquor was originally sold at 11:35. That's my statement.
Thank you. City, any final argument or rebuttal?
We believe the timestamps and the investigative reports speak for themselves. It's clear that this bottle was sold at 12:51, not 11:30.
So the commission will now deliberate.
they not accept the 11:30.
And there's no question that can be asked. Is it consumed?
Okay, so we are back on the record. There's a discussion regarding evidence. I would just make the general comment that the timing for evidence has passed. You made a statement in the beginning that there was no evidence to present. And the issue of the receipt didn't even come up in your original testimony. It only came up when we were asking about a receipt. So that wasn't even presented in the testimony as assuming it was in the evidence if you had submitted it. So I think at this point, it's just simply too late.
Could I do a translator note here?
A translator note, sure.
Meaning that I think that I did not understand that evidence to present was about video evidence only. And that's exactly what I translated over. Not, do you have any other evidence? Because actually, I'm a translator. I didn't know there was any other evidence. Like a receipt or something that had been submitted as the videos were submitted, because I'm just moving the language as it comes in that moment. So I felt while you're out deliberating, I just felt I didn't say something correctly because I didn't know to say what to say. You know, I didn't hear. I heard that only video was being added. Is any further video evidence being submitted? Not generally. I didn't understand it was generally. Do you have any other evidence to submit? That was my mistake, not the person. So I just wanted to clarify that.
City, any comment?
Regardless, it's irrelevant. This was not disclosed timely. It was clearly uploaded today. This was not in the Google Drive yesterday when I was making my outlines. So I believe the commission can move forward without consideration of this evidence.
Was there any mention of evidence to you in this process prior to this being uploaded today and just finding it now? And any prior comments from the licensee or anything in discussions regarding evidence?
My colleague, Deputy Daniel Jacob, was the one to facilitate. If you recall, this was scheduled for earlier in the month, but we had to continue for the interpreter. Exhibits were exchanged at that time and uploaded into the Google Drive, as you can see. At that time, this screenshot of the alleged receipt was not submitted to us.
Yeah, my only comment would be that there's information in the packet we send to you folks about when evidence should be uploaded and sent.
Yeah,
And that's why you get that information in that time period.
보셨죠? 그 기간만 모든 큰 제시하고 싶은 거 해놓겠으면 큰거 그렇죠? 그거는 그 기간에만 업로드할 수 있다고 이해하셨어요? 아셨어요? I understand what you're saying and did not really understand all of that in the letter, in the packet.
That was my only comment.
Okay, well, commissioners, do we have any type of action?
So my motion is going to be to find the charges or allegations sustained.
Second.
So the motion and a second, any objections or reservations here? Seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. The allegations are sustained.
Mr. Nafsinger, what are your recommendations?
This is a first violation. The recommended fine is $1,010, which consists of a $500 base fine and a surcharge of $510 for the 51 minutes over. 51 minutes over. So it's $500 base fine, and then it's $10 per minute for 51 minutes.
Let's meet. Can I read the fine?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I was just going to tell you that's how it's calculated there.
Okay.
Yeah. Understood.
Okay, so the commission will deliberate as to the penalty phase.
I'm not a lawyer myself, but I do. Yeah, but we were just discussing that, you know, we didn't even get to say no contest.
Sorry, we're back on the record.
Okay.
Thank you for allowing us time to deliberate. Commissioners, do we have a type of action?
Yes, I move that we impose a fine of $800.
Second,
The motion and a second, any objections or reservations? Hearing and seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. The fine of $800 for agenda item number 32. Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir.
Moving into other business, calling agenda item number 33. Liquor administrator legislative update. All right.
No, I circulated something earlier today, just waiting for a second crossover a week from today. I'm losing my voice.
Okay, no problem. Thank you, Mr. Ryan. And calling agenda item number 34, liquor administrative matters. Mr. Ryan, we know we circulated something prior.
I think there's a
Yeah, okay, Commissioner.